Yeah, busy afternoon here. I was just looking at a couple of notes that came out over lunchtime. One including some comments from former President Trump on TikTok. It was actually this morning, but just noticing Meta trying to get back to the upside here through 486 once again. We've been stuck in this really, really tight range, but heavy selling out of the gate here this morning on Meta on those comments suggesting maybe a refreshed Trump administration would not be as negative on TikTok in the U.S., saying that some kids, quote unquote, might go crazy without TikTok. So Sharif knows how that feels. LLY under pressure here, pretty big move downside, 4.1% for Lilly today. Huge move down along with Meta leading the way. Under pressure as well, AMD 4%, as everyone's well aware. NVDA, AVGO. Intel, the only one kind of standing out here, looking pretty good. 1.4% higher. QCOM's back to positive as well. Nice day for Google, nice day for Apple, Microsoft lagging ever so slightly. Yeah, there's Eli Lilly, 4%. Not many levels hanging on here for Lilly back to the downside today. Much needed pullback possibly ahead of what is to come tomorrow morning. Remember, the next reading on inflation set for 8:30 tomorrow. We'll bring that to you live. Make sure you're with us at 8:30. We get the gap to the downside here. This is the S&P, obviously, the SPY. Get the gap to the downside here. We have a green candle right now, so we are trying to get back to where we ended the day on Friday ahead of that. Still lots of people talking about crypto and some of the crypto-related stocks, although they have bounced. Pretty heavy selling out of the gate this morning, including on Coinbase. We can kick things off with those as we were discussing this 72,000 that comes and goes for Bitcoin. Michael Saylor was on CNBC talking up MicroStrategy as well. What a couple of months it's been for MSTR. If you just go back to, what is this, February 7th, 2024, this thing was $500, 1,600 comes and goes in a month and a half, guys. Pretty impressive for MicroStrategy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I wish we were long that one. That's for sure. But Bitcoin continues.
It's the same thing. You're already long Bitcoin, so it's like it's the same thing.
Well,
it's not the same thing, but I mean, you have exposure. That's
That was the whole thing about how much more it's going up than Bitcoin. The only trade that I had today that was on anything Bitcoin related, we got stopped out as soon as the market opened up, basically. Bitcoin were trying to hold 72. It didn't. We got out. But turns out to have been the wrong move, as Bitcoin right now and IBIT starting to hover near the top. It's all good. I mean, we didn't take a big position here. I feel like in the middle of the day, much more comfortable trading this. Has nothing to do, again, with IBIT versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin trades 24 hours. Just, you can see right at the open, a lot of volume spikes here, and we haven't really had any in the middle of the day. So let's wait to see if we continue to love this level or not. Coinbase, like Bitcoin's on the bottom there, so you can see it all the time. And welcome, everybody. I'm going to get into the chat. I'm not in there yet. We got a nice little winner. We have $1 right now on Boeing. We have $2 on AMD, and we have 50 cents on Apple, 3 positions. Coinbase, I really want to short up here, man. 270, 272. So we're going to wait to see if Coinbase gives us that opportunity as well. The pre-market bottom, something like that for coin, up 5%. And if Bitcoin goes for another run, tries to take out 73, we will for sure get short in and around here. And I'll take that trade. I feel like there's a good risk to reward here against 272 in case that pops in.
Guess what stock is back at $22? Well, I just gave it away because we're talking crypto.
Yeah.
But it's Mara. I mean, with everything else, it was gapped up when Bitcoin was making that all-time high and right back in, and this is a 3-minute chart, but if you pull up the daily chart, you can see what's been going on at this price. Support down here. It's got 2140, I think 2130 something might be the actual bottom when you check in. No, check that. It's like 2142. But this has been pretty much the bounce zone. You just looked like you were breaking back out and immediately retesting support. I don't know that I might want to short this one instead, as opposed to anything else. The miners have not been as strong. If we do fail that top again on Bitcoin, maybe it's Mara 22.5 in here this afternoon. And at some point, what happens if it takes out this bottom? I don't know if it'll happen now, but if it takes out 2140, it'll flat bottom break action, I think can be in play. The only thing I'm in right now is Palantir. That was somewhat of a flat bottom break, but I kind of like Mara here. I think I might try to short pops in Mara if I see a failure at the high of the day on BTC. Now, this morning we were talking about Coinbase, but that was before Mara sank 6%.
Just reading about NVIDIA. As you were. We're just reading about NVIDIA here. Back, I mean, it was higher. We're back basically flat on the session after the gap to the downside. This is kind of interesting. $1 spent on NVIDIA GPUs could result in up to $12 in additional tech spending across the board.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, we're still down here, but it could have been worse today.
Well, that's how Supermicro makes their money, right? So they service your entire data center, and they go and they set things up for you. They provide tech support. So yeah, I can completely see that. We had Cantor Fitzgerald today boost their price target on NVIDIA, Brendo, from 900 to 1200, maintaining it outperform, basically saying that they see huge upside going into this year, as they call this a super cycle.
It makes more sense now. I just saw who wrote this. Dan Ives.
Ah, got it. Makes sense.
He's a bit of a bull, if anyone was wondering about tech in general.
Well, he also came out I think it was this weekend, saying there is no AI bubble.
I just shorted. So.
That's what a tech bubble. That's what a tech bull, I mean, is going to say. Let's be real. But look, NVIDIA down 1%, but there was a moment this felt like it was going for one of those screams to the upside, and it's a different NVIDIA right now. Because I'll tell you, it flashed the bottom and then broke out the top. And when this has happened, usually you're getting explosive movement. I had a couple longs, they were good, but they were only scalp trades. And now you're right back into weakness on NVIDIA. So I think this could be an afternoon to short the pops underneath 875. Looks like a bit of a level here. But there's one chip name that we didn't talk about this morning, and it's the only one that is at and through its low of the day, and that's Micron. It's down 4%. It broke the low of the day as the market is teetering in a range. So I kind of we always talk about relative strength and weakness. Why is that still on NVIDIA? There we go. Micron failing the $100 level and now breaking a little bit of a flat bottom. I'm shorting every pop that we get on this name. If your market's testing the top of the range and this is breaking lows, I like its relative weakness.
Yeah, we just shorted AMD right here again at 199. We're going to get out if this breaks above 199.0s. But we just took that trade and we just got, I mean, the amount of violence that there is in some of these names is pretty crazy. Like, we just got 75s, and look at this thing popping, locking and dropping and whatever people do these days. Nice move back down in again. Let's put another bid at 84 and see if we can get it. We were waiting to get a little more short up there near 199 teens, right near this 200. I'm surprised we didn't get it there. We're at 15. Okay, nice. Look at that. See, it's just a face slapping kind of a day. Honestly, the way these movements happen, it's 50 cents is like candy sometimes. So we'll just take 50 cents right there again and see if it does pull back in here. So AMD trying to get back down to the downside. Well, actually, we didn't take 50 cents. It went down 50 cents. We'll see if it comes back up to 199 teens and short it again. I really like that. We did not trade. We are one and done on ARM today, so that was a good trade. Well, we got short at 130, but we got out for a quarter. This was a good trade right there. We should have gone back into that well. We just got stopped out there at 130. But for right now, all we're going to focus on AMD as it's continuing to go a little bit lower. I'm bidding in the 60s now. See if we can get that nice winner, and then we'll watch for a 198 break again. Here we go. AMD, here we go. Starting to go back into the downside one more time. See if we can get a 60 fill. We like that one on AMD. We'll talk about Apple and Boeing. I'm almost out of as well.
All right, let's go to some of these Chinese ADRs still holding up nicely in an otherwise kind of choppy nothing day for the overall market here. Still negative for both the NASDAQ and the S&P, 2.3% meanwhile. For Alibaba, PDD looking pretty good still. I just checked JD.com even back to the upside after a negative couple of weeks here for all of these.
Yeah, and the EV names too, Brendo. They're really strong. XPEV and NEO both up 6% lead the lagger today, up 1 and change. But overnight, we got information with respect to the China CPI, which grew about 0.7% year over year. PPI was a lot stronger there, 2.7%. We also had the ending to the annual parliamentary meetings where a lot of economic stuff and market stuff is discussed. So we'll have to wait and see what China does. But good day for the ADRs today.
Yeah, definitely. Offsetting some of the weakness we are seeing elsewhere, guys.
We're happy that Bob was holding up pretty well. I mean,
I just got out of Bob.
Relatively speaking, it gets above the 75 level. It was, if you didn't have the first move on Alibaba, you had one chance at a dip buy into 75. And then it's been holding above 75 ever since. And sometimes that's how it is with the Chinese ADRs. The volume can taper off when the money goes elsewhere. What I love about it, And I've taken a third shot at this stock in my TFSA as a swing. Is you're holding the 50 period. It's been all green sales since the last bounce off $70. And if it can finally break out 78, 79, I think this one could absolutely fly, but it's been under some trouble every time it's gotten above the 75 level. I said I was getting into Micron. Just a quick update. It popped back in, tried to get to 94s. I got 93, 92s in front of 94. It's already down in the 60s. This continues to flush. The market's kind of doing a bit of a range, but this chip name just can't seem to get out of its own way. I don't know if I see a trade this afternoon in BABA, but if it comes down to that 75, it might be worth a shot for a bounce again.
Well, we just got filled on AMD, but I don't have much else to say. That was 75 cents right there. Marvell was another one that we wrote down as a short on Friday at what, it's 82? Something like that. I mean, Marvell is getting absolutely clubbed. Again, we saw this happen to Intel when they missed. At some point, these names aren't going to miss. And I mean, I like this name back down into 67, 80 bucks, 67, $68 down here for Marvell. Another pretty sad day here for this chip name as it's getting beat up again. So, you know, we hit that on Friday, not right now. And here we go again for a downside move with AMD. So we'll just keep on watching that. And what does NVIDIA have to break? We have a wick down. Yeah, so our bottom is not right. Is this right? It did get down to 841 right there. Yeah, so that's, yeah. Remember we were talking about that? Yeah, that's right. It was $40 in the first 2 minutes and then a retracement back 35. Right, so that's a low. So we're not going to get that. Might get that today, but
Unlikely.
I can't target that as a target. So maybe it's this break right here, 857. Let's watch out. But here we go, man. She's singing to the downside right now. It's AMD, and it's really starting to hum here. So let's go. Let's see if this can get down to the downside right now with Advanced Micro Devices, the #1 name here on the sticky note today. No China. Oh, we're talking about China, duh. Okay, Alibaba only had one trade right now, and then it broke. So we waited for it to come back. I thought we had some levels here at like 72.50 or so. We got a little bit out, then it broke back down. I'm going to have to wait for 75 on Alibaba. Market making this move down. Let's just wait. We're not that far away. So Alibaba will do that and wait for 75.
All right, Tesla back, well, I mean, it's trying to hold here, but back higher on the day. We did bounce off that 175 again this morning. We were discussing on this Berlin node. I mean, this was kind of interesting as well. Might be time, Sharif, it might be time. One of their executives deploying full self-driving subscriptions in Canada.
Doesn't it cost? Okay, I see. So now you're not going to pay $20,000 right off the bat, Brendo. Now they're going to take that month to month. I guess that's really what they want here. Yeah,
it might be time.
Right. Look, I mean, it's good news with respect to the Gigafactory in Berlin. It's going to open up March 15th, a lot sooner than we expected. There was activist sabotage last week with respect to a power plant that was nearby. It looks like they're going to fix that earlier than expected.
Sharif in a Cybertruck.
So down.
It's happening.
So down, Brendo.
I mean, you're talking about Sharif in a Cybertruck, but I'll just say what you said in the podcast there, Brendan, because you were like all gung-ho to have a robot in your house. So you want Optimus everywhere. I'm like, you don't even know what it does or like how it works. Like we've seen the Cybertruck. At least we know what that is, but check it out. I thought it was amusing because I don't want one of those bad. I don't want Optimus in my. I don't know. I'm not gonna be the first person in there. I've seen iRobot, and you mentioned that. Check out the pod if you want to make fun of Brendan for wanting Optimus in his house. To fold it. What did he say? Fold his laundry?
Fold his laundry. Yeah. Do any. I'm pretty sure like any household chore would be fine. You know, like
that's what kids are.
Wash the windows. You know, take out the garbage.
Take over the world, enslave you, and lock you into your closet. I mean,
that may happen.
There's all kinds of things that could happen with
KRE.
But something happened in KRE.
I say KRE dump, but it's not really.
Okay. Well, I traded Tesla off of one level twice, short off the 180 level, and then on the way back, I went for a bounce play. So, you know, you can be wrong, just don't stay wrong. I liked 180 for a fade, tried it in here. It did originally pop down about 50 cents in the money, but then I stopped it out the other way for that much. Tried the long off 180. This time when it presented, the last time we gave you the 50 cents, scalped that. So took it, and then it couldn't hold. I got the same level on my mind this afternoon, maybe giving it a little bit more room. If it can get back above 180 and take 180 and a half, I think this can be a long. But the futures seem to, you have to pick your spots here. and find stocks that break out of ranges or have some movement. That's why I was looking at Micron, because it was outside. Because look at the NQ, and we're on the M contract, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Look at the range-bound afternoon. It's been 50 points back and forth and back and forth. So if you can find something which is doing either in the range that you like or breaking into somewhere new and interesting, then I think you can get some better movement. And I think that if Tesla can get back above 180, it would definitely fit that. But yeah, Optimus, cool. The plant in Berlin, I don't know if getting that started really changes too much for the trajectory of the stock, which has been still trending down, and you have yet to truly break that trend on the daily. 150 sits at the bottom of that trend line it's been in for the last year. Hasn't really proven it can get away from this yet.
So we, look, I agree. I think Tesla's about, I want to see it get down a little lower than where we are right now in order to start to buy more aggressively in the longer term account for sure. But I still like Tesla. I think it's a good play for the future. The only name that I'm just going to pull this up here because we didn't really look at Tesla too much today. The only thing that we tried to focus on was Rivian at 1250. I think it's worth a shot. And I just said it's tough to go long because I was pretty bearish today, and pretty much all the money's been made. Well, now we got Apple and Boeing long. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, Rivian today, I knew it was going to be a little tough because Tesla wasn't really trading the greatest. But Rivian right there at 1250, congratulations. The only person I saw in the chat that was sort of yelling about it was Renata. So good trade there, Renata, and it was down to 1250. That was the bouncing spot. Why did I like it down there? It's just, it bounced off 1250 there. So 1250 is kind of where we got going, you know, broke higher the next day after that announcement. Then we touched 13. Then after that 13, we came all the way into 1250 again. So I kind of like that bounce, and then we got it this morning. So that's what's up with Rivian. So anyways, if it comes back down, I'm going to take it again. Let's see what happens there with Rivian at 1250.
All right, ARM, bottom of the list here today. It's actually probably going to be more exciting tomorrow, but we do get a gap to the downside today, back into the bottom end of the range here on the daily chart. But the lockup expiration comes tomorrow.
Up 70% already this year, guys. So a big move up for it on the year already. Let's be real. Less than 10% of the float is actually available for sale. There's technically over 1 billion shares outstanding. Less than 10% is made available, though, for us to trade. So can't wait to see what this does. Typically, lockup periods are really good times for volatility.
We do get a bounce, though, today anyways, guys, with the overall market here a little bit anyways. 128 coming back into play for ARM.
Yeah, it's only down 2.5%, and it did get a decent bounce. It is a flat bottom break that didn't really give you the flat bottom break because it was 131 on the daily, as you can see there, and it gapped underneath. But that should have been, if you look at it, that 131 should have been a short. Like, I got away from the plan, which was the 131 level was the first opportunity. I did want to be short, so break down to the low, we'll take, that was a loss, but then a short off the pre-market high was a win, and then came back, and I got out when it took the pre-market high. But the fail was not getting back in front of the 131. It'll happen every now and then, you get distracted. It was pretty much right when we were doing the end of the morning show. So it can happen at that time of day. You're winding things down, and maybe you don't have that chart up. But ARM, like you said, Brendan, the fireworks don't have to be tomorrow. They don't have to be the day after tomorrow. But at some point, SoftBank is going to realize profits. And you know, when they do, this name has a long way that it could pull back. I could see this under $100 easily. I actually thought at one point this was going to pull back into the 80 range, but then it went to 150 as a high. This is back when it was at 120. I thought a pullback would be sometime in the next couple of months back into the 80s. But I'm not saying tomorrow is going to be a monster event, but there is the opportunity. So starting tomorrow, you're going to want to start looking at this every single day for signs of program selling.
Yeah. We had, ARM was definitely on our, like what we're doing to AMD here, we just shorted again, guys, right there at 15s, and then just covered at 90s, and then just covered at 80s. You know, what we're doing here to AMD is something on the short side, so you guys might want to look at that. And then ARM, ARM today was another, so we only have on the sticky note today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas. AMD short, ARM short. We took it the first time right off the 50-period moving average. Then it ripped up against us this was a smaller position. We always try to max it out if we get the levels that we want. So that was 128. Then it came all the way back down and got a 125. So that one right there was a $3 winner on the bear of this. Then, as Neil mentioned, right at 11 o'clock, it ripped. We got a 120, 130 short. We got 129.98, so that's how good it was. And then we got out there at 40, actually, so 50 cents or so was slippage there, 40 cents was slippage there on ARM. But I'm with Neil on this. We think that this is going to be worth a trade for a while. So we'll continue to watch it. Come on, AMD. Again, we just shorted 15s. I know this is not ARM, but it's moving much better, in my opinion, than ARM right now. Let's see if this continues to move down. We are bidding again in the 60s for AMD. See if it goes downside. What's Coinbase doing? Let's just check Coin quickly before we go back to the desk.
Bitcoin's pulling.
Okay, Bitcoin. Oh, I thought it was going up. 72.5. Let's check the Bitcoin charts when we get back. But I know we got business to handle over there. So what's up, Brendo?
No.
All right, it's been a pretty good start to the week on the midday. We were talking volatility. What's coming up tomorrow?
Even though it was a rangy day today, Brendo, there were several names that were volatile. Tomorrow, we'll be continuing with the topic of volatility. We'll be talking about trading strategies for a volatile market. You won't want to miss that. Check that out with Adair and I tomorrow on How to Trade at 11.
I love how you're doing that.
Randy's here. Thank you, Randy.
Randy,
Oh,
what
no.
up?
Are you changing that around? Oh, no, we're
just-
going with the
what
double.
did you do?
Thank you for the coffee.
Oh,
Trading.
you fixed him. Oh, okay.
Still bearish.
I was wondering what was going on there. I'm like, sometimes Randy gets he gets these
Don't need
feelings.
a coffee, but
You don't.
sorry, what were you saying about Randy?
No,
I
I'm
thought
just
you-
saying
I thought you
sometimes
were
he'll
coffee
come
there.
by and he'll have his own opinion.
Yeah.
And I'll let him change it because it's all for good fun. I think it's more interesting if he.
I thought he was changing it.
That's
why I was
what
like,
I thought,
Okay, here
too.
we go. We're getting a change, but he was just straightening it out.
Maybe it's because he wants to go long Rivian at $13.
Well, to Randy's credit, he was talking about buying dips
Oh, that's
there.
true. Rivian
Apple might be bottoming out. We
Rivian
can look
is
at an
holding
Apple
13,
bottom
but-
trade.
Apple bottom trade.
Yeah, but someone said Apple might be bottoming out.
I see what you did.
So look, we did good on Apple today. We've only been long. We've sort of been biased to the long side. And again, part of it is like we went long in our own account, so I was kind of thinking long, but I like the long. We actually wrote this down last week. As long as we're above 170, we like the long. If we're below 170, we like the short. And you can't ever trade. Me and Neil have told you stories about like trading your own book and like wanting to get to certain numbers, and it makes no difference. So we saw that headline come out about AI App Store, and like obviously that's a big move up there. I haven't heard anything about it being untrue or whatever. I think it was Business Insider quoting that. But nice move up for Apple. We didn't take anything out. We only have 20% left of it because when we bottom picked this, we were so happy when it came, or maybe even less, when it came back to the 50 period here, we just took 30, 40 cents. So we didn't even part of this. I didn't even have offers out here. That was pretty silly. I should have realistically got filled at 173, but I like that trade for Apple. Let's just keep on buying dips. I mean, I feel like the bad news might be underneath it now on Apple. The daily chart, we've already had a bounce down there. We had that nice wick day down to 167. That sort of bounced off of that. Let's see if Apple can keep the momentum higher into hopefully what is going to be their next catalyst, something like what happened today, But we still wait for. Oh yeah, that's right. I was going to look that up. I thought it was sometime in June.
It's definitely in the summer.
Some
I
kind
forget.
of
I don't know when their actual event is,
Apple
but
AI
it's
event.
definitely sometime in summer, and expected that you're going to see something
Oracle tonight,
specific to the phone. And I think that'll be huge.
Yeah.
Before, I was going to actually mention something about Oracle, but I just
action.
got out of Palantir and Micron. Quickly going to show you. Palantir was underneath this bottom break at 25.70. We're shorted down into 25.5. I reloaded it just as we were coming back on, and it stopped out. I don't think I'm done with Palantir. Either we get it short again here off 25.90 or just right back in off of that 70 level. And I want to think the same thing when it comes to Micron. This is, oh goodness. There you go. Micron just pumped through 94 even on a reload, but I still like this back into 94. It's like 94.30 is this level here. So if it gets back into that, I would still look to short. Relatively weak name. I want to stick to the shorts on it. It's just a matter of time. And I wasn't joking with when Randy came by about Rivian and 13. I mean, Rivian broke out at 13 and gave you to 13.50. It then broke back down and held 12.93, and now it's at 12.98. So I think if it can hold on to this level, it might be a good, put in a higher low, get back above 13 into VWAP. Stranger things have happened. Rivian is worth a look today. You have to remember, like Rivian is still on a tear since the event. If you look at the chart, it made a bottom, made a higher low, had the event and broke itself out. I don't see any reason if it can hold a 13 here, why you can't get back and retest the highs. If you're looking for strength, the market's down 0.3%, and it will take nothing for it to get green. It's just like one good move, and this market goes green. You're going to want some things that can run. I still think Rivian has a chance.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're a little bit, obviously a different space here, but that's the logic with holding on to this AMD as we pull back in again right now into 198. I'm just making sure that I'm bidding here 198.67s. There we are again bidding that level as we just come right back there, back down. It's too bad. I was looking at some other trades. I didn't even realize that this was. I just saw it starting to pick up steam. Could have reshorted that up there on AMD again, but you know, a little bit of a tricky trade, but we'll take 30 cents on that one as Apple starts to move around. DraftKings, is that a specific? Yeah, DraftKings with a nice little jog here. Upside for DKNG right now. Wow, 42 bucks up, just straight up here on the minute chart, starting to go. So there goes DraftKings right now, back up to pre-market highs in and around this area. I think this is a decent short opportunity for me. Going into 42.30, but let's see how high did we get the last time? So into 40, yeah, is that 42.30? Yeah, so 42.30, okay. So I feel like this is a decent level here to go short on DraftKings, up 0.8. Some of these chip names are falling in, but the thing about it is, this has been what's working for me, and I'm about to go against it, and that is that the market rate here is just bordering on doing nothing. And I'm gonna go short up here. What if we break? But that's why we have our out. So generally speaking, if the market's going to be up, well, today it's down, then I'm going to want to look for shorting names to go short up here rather than go long. But I'm not too afraid of a 0.33 with lack of a trend right now. But DraftKings moving higher. I just see the note now, Penn. Not a big deal, but they just launched ESPN Bet in North Carolina.
Come on, raise
yeah, so you got to raise up, you know, take your shirt off, twist around your head. It's like a helicopter.
Like a helicopter?
Yeah, so shout
out.
Not
that that's going to happen, but.
Shout out to PD Pablo here. What's up. PD Pablo and Penn.
Who am I?
Yeah, well, PD Pablo something, you know.
Yeah, I was going to,
as we go on there.
That's the problem. You can't finish any of the good ones while we're on YouTube.
No, you can't. That's why we're going to have our podcast room where we can spit hot fire throughout the day.
Do whatever
you say whatever we want and just like, you know, go nuts.
Patrick knows what's up.
Yeah, where's Patrick? Oh, there he is. All right, so I'm going to find out if Patrick
has really, really good club stories.
Oh yeah, that guy's always in the club, eh? Okay, I'll have to ask.
Like really good. Like yeah, I mean,
good man.
I was surprised, but we have some fun. We got to get Patrick
be young
on
again. Patrick's been on a couple times.
I'm just saying he's got great stories. What else we got?
The Mara Kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a nickname? The Mara Kid? Nah.
Well, speaking of Mara, because
the Mara Mafia, maybe.
Oh, what's Rob?
What's up, Rob?
Carrying a ladder.
Carrying the ladder around here, yeah.
Well, he's the Mara trader, but Mara right now, as Bitcoin gets to the highs, I'm going to use IBIT because my BTC chart is having some...
It's perfect, yeah.
Oh, it's feeling waves today, but look at the top. So this isn't going to be... IBIT is not going to trade at a price which is easily referenceable, but the high is 41.62, so whatever that is on BTC. You're pretty much at those highs, and I said if we fade that top, I like Mara off of consolidation, which is pretty much exactly what you're getting right in here. 24.22 is the top. Looking for a short there. Jameson saying Carvana short. You know, I have not looked at Carvana today. Maybe that's a bit of a mistake. I kind of felt that was maybe not going to be there. Let's look at. I don't mind. I'll look at Carvana. I'm going to try and get that short in Mara. We do like that with BTC kind of backing off of that top. I do want Mara. Carvana's down 7.5%. Yuck.
Really? Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't really look at this at the open. Remember that 85 level? Yeah, that would have worked. 85, that was pretty good. 85 was where this thing broke out from on Friday. So it falling apart at that price. I don't know, maybe like back into 79.30 would look like the short to me. Yeah, like this back into here would make some sense, or into VWAP at 80. Either one of those levels actually looked pretty good there on Carvana, but you really missed the boat if you weren't short that at the open. Like if you If you're a bear on Carvana, then you should have been looking for that. It was actually 84.50, which was the previous 52-week high that it broke out on Friday. So that's the level right at the open. You're absolutely laughing. Good look, but unless it gets to VWAP or tests that lower high, I'm not into it. Mara we can grab right here off of that level we mentioned, risking about 15 pennies, and then any slippage that you might get, which on Mara could be a couple of shekels. You got 22 and 21.80 as the bottoms here on Mara, down 5%. Bitcoin's at the highs.
Ooh.
That's the thing with Mara the last couple of days. Any pullback off the top, and Mara just completely falls over.
All right, I did think about shorting AMD again, so we're going to do that at these levels if we can get it, again, in around teens, out 30s if we can get that. Take 15 to 20 cents worth of risk because we've been making that, so we'll just keep on sort of doing what we're doing and being very, very comfortable doing that. All right, Tesla's starting to go. I did want to, I steal something here from Brendo. Oh, God. So funny that my kids call Brendan Brendo now. It's hilarious.
Everyone does.
Yeah, everyone does, I guess. All right, so here it is. So I actually like to look at this now because, what is this? AI prediction for the market? Okay, good one. Just an ad, nothing.
Oh, never.
All right, so Tesla. I just like to look at this because this is the heat map of the current market. So it's like you could just find out if you want to get something in big cap tech and you're looking weak, then you're gonna, look for Meta. Something strong, you're looking for Google. So right now, as the market kind of hovers around, we talked about it doing absolutely nothing, maybe Microsoft getting ready for a move, or you just want to look to see if you can grab some, like if I'll look at Google and Meta now just to show you what I'm talking about. So what I'll do is look for some stocks, and we have different screeners and scanners. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Go there, use one of their scanners for sure. That's just a heat map for the whole market. That was sorry, that was Trading View, but Trade Ideas is what was on my mind. So just for an example, Meta, right? Meta was down today. So we're going to look now to see what kind of trades we can find for Meta. So because it's down, maybe we'll look to short. So that's what we did early. We were shorting in there, if you guys remember, against VWAP until eventually it broke. So we were doing that live. So now we'll sort of zoom out and say, all right, now, see, so I feel like I just did this live in front of everybody and kind of found a trade that I would like to take. So if Meta does pop up here and go for a little bit of a run, then I feel like shorting here, 488, 489 into this 490, which has been a top, would be a decent trade. So we'll have to wait for that. So we can keep it on our radar, put it down as a trade that we're looking for. And then on the converse side, it was Google that was up today. So what I'd be looking for would be, again, something, and we've just missed it, but something like this, where you find a bottom to sort of play off of. Yeah, so right there, that would have been a trade, that's just Google. So that would have been a trade there to look at for saying, okay, Google's strong, we're above VWAP, and then there you go. Here into the 50, into the 200, and it's nothing sexy. It gives you 20 cents. But if you're just looking for something to do, as I hear people in the chat saying maybe this is a little bit of a boring market, look, I agree, but which is why I'm having the most fun here trading AMD. So, look for either stocks that are trending, which I just sort of did a little bit of a example there, or stocks that are moving with catalysts, right? So AMD is definitely has news behind it in the last couple of days. So that's chip names here with AMD.
Yeah, and I have my Halt scanner up, my High of the Day Momo scanner, just in case I see some small caps that come across the wire. Was able to just get some more out on that push to the downside. So for risking the 15 pennies up to that high, we're going to get some out when it gets to that 15 penny mark. So Mara already starting to pull back, and this is sort of what we looked at here as to why Bitcoin. This is IBIT, by the way. I'd show my black charts for that one. But anyways, IBIT gets to the highs and pulls right back in. It's just when you can't see the Bitcoin price, if you don't know this is IBIT. But that Bitcoin got to the top and pulled back. That's why we shorted Mara. Always have a reason for your trade, but sometimes if you got the future to the leading indicator, it can give you a better opportunity for those entry points. I still like this Rivian notion though. It's back above that 13 even. If you look at it from this standpoint, breaking out 13, holding, and now holding a higher low. I mean, that's 1290 down there. Looking for the long in front of 13 kind of makes some sense to me. I know it's underneath VWAP, and sometimes we're looking the other direction for a stock under VWAP, but when you zoom it out, it's a pretty key level for it to hold, and I do like the trend. So as long as it's above that 13, 13 was resistance in the afternoon on Friday. So if it's going to be a bounce spot, I tend to like this. I'm going to get some Rivian in here and give it to that 1290, see where it goes. What else we got? Neil's flat bottom break will be clean on Mara tomorrow.
There goes AMD.
Will it? This is a flat bottom break on today's level, though, on Mara. When I was talking, this is 2175. If you look at this, is the big flat bottom break. I don't know if we see that today. 2140. That on the daily chart, I think that's a monster level. If this gets given up, that's a trade. I'm willing to lose on that trade. Like 2140 breaks on Mara, I think you got to have it because there's room to 19, room to 17. Yeah, like that's the one, not today's low, but it's the 2140 low that I think is the bigger trade.
I mean, we talked about that, Mara. I think that's a good one. No matter which way you're talking about, whether or not you like the long or the short, just the fact that it moves so much and its kind of levels are pretty clean on Mara. Good trade for Mara for sure. We'll just take 60 cents on that. That's why we hit that. We'll props it up. For anybody that was just following me with AMD, I mean, shorted on VWAP, boom. Shorted it here again, boom, goes a dynamite. And it's not that we just didn't get anything out. We've averaged all these prices in now. So there it comes back in. And again, stick with, we talked about this. This is a sticky note name. Stick with the consensus way that we were thinking. The only time when we lost on here is when we actually went long. That's these reds. Wow, here we go back in. Nice little move back into the downside right now for the market. Now cracking the 50-period moving average. Just getting excited because, hey, man, we have a 70-cent winner here, 45 cents on Apple, as that's kind of holding out. I may just drop this. Again, this is only 20% of this trade. I was hoping we would get maybe more clarification or something about AI, and maybe it pops. Okay, Boeing. Boeing was an interesting one because it was down here at the 200-period moving average, and I actually wanted to get a little bit more shares. So the first take was breaking through 192, and then it dipped down for some reason and gave me this trade at 191.80. Like, I have no idea, and then that ran into a dollar club because then it came right back up to the top and we got out there at 192.80. So again, we just played from 200 up to the top again there on Boeing. I consider this one a pretty lucky trade. You see that top? So, I mean, lucky, I mean, when you hit the keys, it's not lucky, but it's, you know, sometimes the movement, again, with a name that was down, we just took it off this level, thought it could bounce back up to the upside. Boeing has been an absolute disgrace. We talked about them possibly taking over Spirit Airlines on that buyout. I have no idea what's happening there. The FAA is like basically trying to ground, or FAA, I guess, grounding those 737s. Like, one fell off the runway there. And you look, do all the research yourself.
There was another incident.
There's all these pictures I always see, so I don't want to like claim that something is what it is. But
well, there was a thing with
you can see how the stock's reacting.
A plane in
was Australia?
Sydney,
was
Australia.
Yeah, that's the one.
There was a severe movement. I think it was the way that what they called it, and 50 people were injured. But they never said what the cause was, and it happened to be a Boeing jet. And now the DOJ is into this thing with the door gate. Yeah, well, I don't know. I actually don't know what they call it. It's
pretty funny, actually.
Whatever it is. So it's not really looking good for them. I appreciate the super chat there, Mr. Westermeyer. However, okay, so here's the super chat. Neil doesn't /DC look like it is at support. DC. So I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to there, but if you let me know, I will take a look there. So I'm not entirely certain what you mean.
Dollar costing on a stock? Is that what he means?
No, but I don't.
DCA maybe that would be.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, what stock are you talking about? Because I need to know where to look. We don't mind answering questions. Just, milk futures. Milk futures.
Not talking
okay, I will.
He's not talking about milk futures.
We're talking about We're talking about milk futures?
No, we're not. That's the whole point. I don't know how to look. I mean,
milk does the body good.
Yeah, well.
I'm not gonna. Okay.
We never looked at milk futures, Mike.
No, ever. I mean,
you can look at them.
now that those OJ futures.
Yeah, when
that's wild.
Yeah, there's problems in Florida.
You get beaks in there, manipulate those oil futures, and then you're good to go. But type it in. I don't know what it is.
We don't have it.
There's no way we have that in.
We do not.
Real trading doesn't have milk futures. I promise you that.
We have nat gas, we have oil, gold, silver.
Give me what to call up on like
currencies.
But milk futures. Why? Is milk moving? Like, probably. Is that a thing?
Yeah, probably. Thing is, beef was getting really expensive.
That I know.
Yeah, there is something. I could see, I mean, if we just talk through it, I think logically, weather factors, I guess, would be, if there's major weather factors that could affect.
Darwin, just show you guys are real prop floor. Yeah, because we don't have milk futures. No, I actually mean
We have
laughing
almond.
about
We have
it.
almond milk futures though, so don't worry about
Oh,
that.
you guys and your almond milk.
We have almond
Coffee
milk
black,
futures.
that's what I'm talking about. But
This coffee today is not good again.
I'm going to grab a tea in a second. Cause
I might go
I
grab
need something warm. I felt cold all day. I don't know what it is.
XBI is tanking. You know what? I'm going to talk.
Someone mentioned something.
There's a few things I want to talk to Michael Noss about today. One of them, let me know what you want me to ask Michael Noss. There was one stock that Brendan
is tanking.
and I was going to say maybe it's Moderna because Moderna is a part of that, right? So Moderna had a big move up today, or recently. Yeah, still up 10. Okay, so it has nothing to do with that.
Hey, I'm back in the money.
There was a stock. People asked about Roku. Not that it matters, but Roku, there was some kind of a hack into. I'm only laughing because it was made the move down and then just ripped right back up. So I did hear something. I saw something on Benzinga, some kind of a hack into Roku systems. Obviously corrected itself immediately and went right back up to the upside. So those of you asking about Roku, there was a stock. Somebody if there's anything you want me to ask Michael Noss anyways, for tonight's recap here, I'll hit the thing. We do have Michael Noss coming on, and there was, I know what it was.
No, it was SMCI.
No.
No?
Well, I'll ask him about that.
Yeah,
No, it was going to be ARM, because I actually wanted to ask him tomorrow, what he's thinking here on the daily, because he's not really a macro guy. So let's just find out. I mean, I could tell you he's going to say there's support probably down here at 115. I just want to see tomorrow if and when we do find out about SoftBank, and then they just say in your face to everybody because of how ARM has appreciated so much, and they want to get one over based on WeWork because they took it on the chin for that. Let's see what happens tomorrow with ARM. I'm going to ask Michael Noss a little bit about ARM. And then, MSTR, all SMCI, all of them continue to go. Did NEO in the 6th? Yeah, so, wow, another one. Remember we talked about this earlier in the day. I said, earlier this morning, wow, okay. I didn't even see this. I don't know why no one screamed this at us. But we were talking a little bit about NEO earlier. As by the way, Apple's starting to go back up to the upside right now. Good job on NEO, by the way, anybody that's in that. Here goes Apple. It's starting to jog a bit here. Back into this level, so the net's starting to go up a little bit. So we see that. Nice move up here for Apple. Bought that dip there. Starting to go into 80s. Good move up here for AAPL. We do have Daniel Shea coming on as well. So all about options. We'll hear some talk there as well. Her and Brenda will go back and forth about a few things. But right now, Apple trying to get back to view up. I'm holding this trade. Tomorrow I'll find some areas to put Apple on the sticky note, but we want to get long Apple as much as we can. I'm happy with the story. What's up to T-Money there and everybody else? Thank you. I saw the like and the subscribe thing. I need to get more. Do we have any new ones?
No, we don't have any new ones.
I don't even.
Mine is the newest one because
I have CAD and we can't.
I
get that.
bugged Fabian to shoot that one.
Okay, so you have the Mr. T one.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, I have an idea for a new one, but anyways, I won't say it because then I want to shoot it. And then Fabian just remind me sometime this week. He's like, Fabian's hard at work with headphones on, so he doesn't even hear me. But I got an idea for a new one that I want to shoot, which will be equally silly. Well, actually, it'll be more silly. I took myself too seriously in that one. We'll do something even stupider next time. All right. More stupid, more silly.
Did you see John Cena yesterday?
Huh?
You didn't?
I did not. You got, huh? What?
Oh, you don't know about John? He walked out naked. I saw the back. It was pretty darn close to naked, man. Find it. Go find it and put it on. Huh? You go find it and put it on. We'll put.
Yeah, but they're not actually showing it.
Anyways, no, it doesn't matter. He's holding the cue card over his private parts.
Okay. Well,
but he was really I saw the backstage thing. He had a little jock on. It was legitimately
funny guy, man.
naked. I don't know what was up with that, but that was pretty hilarious. You know what? Fine, I'll just go find it. It won't be that hard.
No, he's obviously doing
John
some kind of
Cena.
you know what? I won't lie.
No.
I don't.
No.
Well, that was a little loud.
Okay, go then. Go then, Ramin. She found it. There it is. See. The dude's 40 years old or something. The guy's an absolute monster. Look at this. But you see what I'm saying?
He's really letting himself go. That's the problem.
And I wasn't watching it. I wasn't watching it. Fabian's talking about a floating tablet or something like that. But no, apparently, really, I'm not even sure why he.
But what's the gag? That's obviously for that must be for a new project or.
Oh, it was an anniversary of
someone
someone streaking on
40
the Oscars?
Okay.
It was costume design thing, yeah. So there was some funny things yesterday.
Okay.
The Rock had a silver suit on. I didn't think that was the best look for him, but it's just so funny how the WWE is like taking over Oscars. Like what? Like
Why
The
not,
Rock,
man?
they made The Rock famous and John Cena. But again, Cena's been a pretty fun actor. Like some of the movies he's been in, there was
These guys are better
Something
than...
Blockers was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah,
he was
that
in
one.
that
That was
one,
good.
and then he was in one where he was like a firefighter.
He's good in the second Suicide Squad. I forget the character
he
he
has
plays.
that,
What the hell's it called again?
No, he has
and then
that-
he did a spin-off for that
He has that
character.
HBO show.
Yeah,
The
that was Peacemaker. Dude, he was freaking hilarious.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to discredit this
No,
guy.
he's great. A couple of things here. One, Rivian bounced off 13, just gave it out in front of 13.10s. Ricky, I've seen Henry Chung, Ricky Stanicki. I saw that pop up on my Amazon Prime, and I added it to my list to try to watch it. What? Okay, well, Rob literally.
I just heard the whisper. I just heard the whisper in my
Rob
ear.
whispers to me, he's like, "It's not that good." Well, okay, I appreciate you, Henry Chung. I'm probably gonna check it out anyways because, what? No, actually, Rob and I like a lot of the same things. I love to get recommendations from people who, think like-minded. If a trader tells me they like this or that, then usually it'll be entertaining. I got excited, and all of a sudden this guy's like, it's not gonna be that good. Okay, whatever, we just took some profit on Rivian, but I also just got back into Micron, which means things are headed back to the upside, shorting it off this level here, lower high at 94.20, so we'll short it off to 94.20. It's tight risk because it's 245, and you're not getting a tremendous amount of movement in the market, so I think you wanna keep things tight to the vest there.
Yep, very tight. We just punched out of AMD. Just broke higher. It's just capital preservation. Like we'll take a hit on that, but again, we were talking about watching out for Apple, starting to go back up to the upside, so that's good. We'll just figure out where the market wants to go now, you know what I mean? Who knows where we're going. Nice move upside now for the market, and we just talked about trying to fade off pops there, so let's go see. There was one stock, Meta, that we had looked at if we could fade it, and see what I mean? It's the market's popping now and Meta's not doing anything. So again, like nailed the talk, but don't have the walk there because Meta didn't go back up to the upside. So we'll just have to wait again. Maybe we'll just lower our expectation there. Maybe get it, lowered expectations on Meta and just put it here at 488, something like that. Because I don't think we're getting down there to 4. Josh Brolin was pretty funny today on Saturday Night Live. I thought he had.
Do you remember lowered expectations?
Yeah, isn't that Chappelle though?
No, that was Mad TV.
Oh, Mad TV, yeah. I was gonna say, I knew it wasn't Saturday Night Live.
For those of you who are not as old as I am,
Will Sasso is still doing lots of stuff, actually.
Dude, the original cast of Mad TV, because that's where Key and Peele were from. Lowered Expectations, one of their better sketches. Like that was a good sketch, but they had some really good characters in there. Oh yeah, it was like a dating thing. Anyway, you guys can look it up. It's funny. I like it. Mara's starting to come back.
When you have lowered expectations, you know what I mean?
Back to that stuff. Well, what's cool about
Stuff
it?
writes itself.
If they were to do it again, you have so many different angles now because you've got like the dating apps, like with.
He looked like a man. Yeah, see?
He looked like a man.
See, these guys know.
You guys know what's up. Yo, I
KFRY.
couldn't stop with Mad TV. That was my jam.
We had a good friend in high school named Kefri. So I see somebody there. KFRY.
Yo,
oh, well, Fire Marshal Bill. No, we're not.
If that's Kefri from high school, I'll still race you. You name the time and place. I'll be in my boots. I don't even care if it is you, Kefri.
That's not Kefri.
No, I know
okay,
it's not.
Just don't worry.
There was a running joke that this football player used to say he could beat me in a race, but then every single time he wouldn't show up to track practice, and it never happened. I'm like, just because you run fast on a football field, I'm like, you probably hit me and I would die, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna beat you in a race. Kefri's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah.
KFRY.
You wouldn't be able to know that by what we're talking about.
Kefri. I ran into Kefri. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, no, on the subway, wasn't it?
No, I ran into Kefri. I was leaving the office and I was like 50 feet away. I just got outside about a year ago, and I ran into Kefri walking down the street. And I was like, "You still want to race?" He's like, "No." But
dude, we just took some more money out of AMD right there as we talk about old high school stories, and that's what happens when the market is a little slow sometimes. But there it is, man. We're shorting off 200 now.
where's NVDA at least?
Like we came into VWAP, that was $200.20. So we'll take an 88 fill. Wow. Okay. I mean, this is even better than we thought. Then we'll just bid it out at 6.
NVIDIA is pretty strong.
Is it? Okay, well, for now, we'll go Gates of Hell. We'll do a little bit of this. Hot dog cannons here. I don't know. It's a good thing kind of for us because my kids really don't like hot dogs anymore, so that's pretty good. Because then,
like hot
you know, I love hot dogs, but
No,
like,
you like
know,
you like sausage. You don't eat.
well, no, that's we're gonna get in trouble here. But no, the thing about it was,
Why are we getting?
I like barbecued hot dogs, you know, and this coming in the summertime. But my kids are like, nah, I don't like it anymore. So they're not. What I'm saying is for the health aspect. So instead of having
No,
hot
they're
dogs
not
for lunch,
healthy. Yeah, they're not healthy at all.
you know,
They're
I
not-
mean, what we have for lunch on weekends probably it's always like hot dogs or sandwiches or nothing. Sometimes you just bypass lunch.
You want
We'll
to
have
be
a
in
late
my household.
breakfast.
We are a.
Oh, there
we're
goes
a
AMD to
brunch.
the upside.
Our lunch is. We're always baking something in my household, and then that's when we throw
you up
down. It's
again,
like
though.
whatever we do, scones, fresh bread, and then that's where you get your bacon and eggs. Like we have like healthy
Yeah,
stuff for
gotta
breakfast
have
on the
the brunch.
weekends because you're up and about. They're always doing a million things. But then when we have lunch, it is a throwdown brunch, and when my wife does like waffles or something, oh. All right, and we get all the maple syrup in the world. That said, I just got out of Micron again. These chips are looking pretty strong. It's a tight stop, but I just showed you NVIDIA at VWAP, or actually, sorry, my bad. I did not show you NVIDIA at VWAP. I said that NVIDIA was looking strong. I don't think I showed you the chart. I'm out of Micron. All I have long is Rivian, and this Mara short is starting to pop back into the upside, back into that 22. I have 27s in here, but 2240 is that high. I'll reload that because Bitcoin's not breaking out, but the chips starting to look a little bit good, I suppose. Tesla, I said at the beginning when we were doing the rundown that I like Tesla above VWAP breaking out above 180. This isn't doing anything. I might have to stick a fork in that, and maybe Rivian will be the one that can go. But the chips are starting to show a little bit of strength here. That's why I just got out of Micron.
Well, we'll go the opposite way for now and go short right there and take 50 cents right now. And like Neil was mentioning, it's about looking at the names, right? Like Micron, we've been noticing AMD's been the weakest of the bunch today, down 4%, and we just shorted it off VWAP again. We did get stopped out there at 200. We talked about that, but I didn't. And it's always, everything is like when I say my bad, like it really is my bad, because part of doing the show is you miss obvious things. And like my stop order, I should have gone in there and changed that. Like, why am I stopping out at 200 when we have VWAP right there at $200.25? Like I can withgo that 25 cents to not be stopped out. And then it's just laziness. And then it comes right back in and we get 50 cents. So it's like the quick stop is fine. I'll take this quick stop like every time. What happened now?
Oh, no.
Trey Lance?
No, Saquon Barkley's going to the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, I have him in another pool. I feel like Saquon to the Eagles is fine.
You like? Well, I
Who
don't.
was he? Swift? Where did
Swift
he
went
go?
to,
somewhere else. DeAndre, right?
I know this.
And then they have Kenneth Gainwell.
The Bears. To the Bears.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about Roshan there. All right. Well, hey man, it's free agent frenzy right now. We weren't sure why. I don't know. Pollard there went to Tennessee, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on right now.
I've always
Interesting
wanted to
time.
go to Tennessee.
See what the Packers can do. They were saying that they might try to go after T. Higgins, but we already have 4 wide receivers. But T. Higgins is nice.
If I ever do a second, well, actually, that wouldn't make any sense because I go to Vegas. I was gonna say if I was to do like I want to do like a bachelor party over again. Tennessee is one of the places that would be, or Memphis would be. I mean, Memphis specifically, but I still haven't gone to Vegas, so that would be that. I probably missed a chance on Mara here. I was waiting for the same price instead of just getting the next price. That's a bit of a mistake. I should have got in there instead of waiting for the top. That's a bit of a mistake on my part, but it is what it is. So I missed that reload on Mara. It's headed back. I want the low of the day, 2184. I just reloaded Rivian back into $13 level. Still would like to see if we can't get something going on. Oh, it wasn't Apple. It was Tesla, but that can't seem to go, so that's why I'm in Rivian. Tesla actually looking like it's incredibly weak. Right back into the bottom on Tesla. Yeah, Nashville's the bomb. I've never been to Nashville. My wife has been to Nashville. She's been there.
Apparently Nashville, obviously a great place to go, but it's kind of like you're 10 years too late. Like it's been so, like it was
It's
under.
too touristy.
Right, like now everybody wants
That's
to go
what she went with her girlfriends, and that's exactly what she said. It was a little bit. She was disappointed a bit.
It's supposed to be, well, I mean, it's supposed to be a jam.
But don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of places I've never been. Like I love a lot of different types of music, and so when we went to New Orleans for a buddy's bachelor party, you go down there, the music scene. Forget about Bourbon Street. That's a lot of fun too. But like some of the, oh my goodness, you go into like some of the bars and like the music is ridiculous. Just how much you can get. Neo, how about Neo? Parkit says. It's a Chinese ADR, so it might not move that much. Look at this. Okay, well, what are we
Josh
supposed
Jacobs
to do with
to
this?
Green Bay? No, come on.
1 or 2 cents? It's not moving. Look at the sideways action. There's no way. Why would the Packers sign Josh Jacobs?
Well, it just means bye-bye A.J. Dillon.
No, but why would they do that?
We re-signed Aaron Jones.
They have re-signed Aaron Jones.
We did already.
Neo's at major resistance at 630 on the chart. Just so if it's not going to break out here, I think it's done for the day. I think tomorrow, if it can take out this top, look at the trend back up.
There's
It's
so
got
many
room
things
to
that
go.
happen, dude.
There's a lot that can happen. I actually still have 630 marked off on my chart from a while ago. So if we break this tomorrow, I'm going to put that on my iPad. Shout out to you, Parkit.
No, I was talking about a lot happened in the NFL here.
Why? What did we miss?
Lots, man. There's lots of players.
Is the Jacob things real?
No, I don't know. Antonio Gibson to the Patriots, so that's fine. Sam Darnold could be Vikings bound now. Saquon Barkley right here on Philly. No, but Kirk Cousins is gone. Kirk Cousins is Atlanta.
My buddy's a huge Vikings fan. He's gonna break. You know, Dan. He's gonna break something. He's gonna.
Well,
I promise
it's Trey
you.
Lance or Sam Darnold, so you got to go back a couple of years for those draft
He's
picks.
gonna break something.
Falcons right here going to Kirk Cousins right here, so that's good. Unleash Kyle Pitts on everybody there. Kicker Will Lutz goes to Jacksonville. Maybe that was it. Darnell Savage. Oh, Darnell Savage. Hey, it's the Packers.
Yeah.
All right, so bye-bye to Darnell Savage now. And it is true. Okay, are expected to sign. Okay, this one does come as end of A.J. Dillon. So that's fine. We'll find out what the deal is and how much money they save there. I'm fine with that, A.J. Dillon. I like A.J. Dillon, but whatever. Honestly, Aaron Jones is, in my opinion, the more pressure we can give to a better running game for Jordan Love, I think is better for him anyway.
This is wild.
Here we go, man.
Mr. Westermeyer, did you get a beignet from Cafe Domon when you were in the Big Easy? 100%. But the crazy thing about it was, like 3 of us, the day we went, there was only 3 of us that were actually awake to go. Like everybody else was like passed out in the hotel. And I'm like, well, we're going now. So if you guys aren't waking up, then I'm going to grab one. I went with Lamar's bro.
Yeah, I don't remember
and
that.
Ajay and somebody else. Everybody else was. I mean, it's New Orleans. It was a fun night the night before, but absolutely delicious.
We got picked up on AMD there at 30s, so that was, again, we'll ring it. It's not quite $1, but we'll do it anyways, 80 cents right there. And again, if you don't have the bids, you don't have the bids out. So we had the bid out, so you got to put those if you're going to grab them. Yeah, exactly. So we just put another bid down here, hoping to get it down at 198. Let's see if we can break 198.50, but that's 199. I want to go try 198.65 right now. So we'll try that here on AMD. That's pretty wishful thinking, but again, who knows? A little bit of a move down here. And we could get anything happening here because of NVIDIA. So that's kind of, if this just down into there, I know AMD will follow. So we'll wait to see if we get a little bit of a movement in that name. And so far that you've been watching me here today, it's been Boeing, it's been the Apple long. I feel like this Apple maybe is getting long in the tooth right now. And then AMD here as well. We just talked about that. We did look at DKNG, and then I saw that.
Westermeyer.
And then I saw that news on. Okay, DraftKings would have worked. That's too bad. Okay, but anyways, up there 40. Remember we were looking at 42.30 as the high there. Too bad. That would have been fine. 10 cents worth of risk down there. Still nothing too crazy. It's more just AMD. I'll probably just watch this. Now 80 cents back into the lows again for AMD where we took our last bid. So here we go. Let's see how low we can get here on AMD.
Oh, I was going to pull it up myself. You didn't have to email me the chart, Mr. Westermeyer. You wanted a daily chart of milk futures. So there it is. That can't be right. No, that's not right. That's not good. That's not going to work. We'll wait for yours to come in. But I know it's tanking. That's all I know. But everything else about that, I'll look at your chart in a second, but I have to download your pick there. I don't want to give out your email address. But I see you have a nice short on there. But I just saw the trend line looks pretty good. Milk futures, trade what moves. To each their own. Like I'll say this right now. I've seen traders. One of the things I can't stand is when traders are like, oh, this is, if you're not a real trader if you do this. So you're not a real trader if you trade that. If you trade penny stocks, you're not a real trader. If you don't trade Forex, you're not a real trader. If you don't trade this, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? There's a million things out there that you can trade as long as you have a plan of action. So if milk futures are your thing, knock yourself out. If you like oil, if you want to trade natural gas, crazy, Widowmaker, do you. If you want to trade crypto, a million things are going to work. Just try to have a plan of action and stick to your plan. One of those things, sometimes when you're playing the trend, is if you're buying dips or you're shorting pops, you want to try to try to make the next move and don't get anchored to price too much. So I got anchored here on Mara, and if I can rectify that with a lower high, like I got anchored to this is the top, short the top, and then it puts in a lower high. If it puts in a lower high, I'm willing to get back in again. So I do want more of this Mara trade and see if we can't get it. DC is the ticker to milk futures. But again, I'm only talking about it because Mr. Westermeyer brought it up. I don't really know anything about it. We're going to go to the desk to take care of a little bit of business.
Get as much as 50-to-1 leverage when trading Forex at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offer 0% commission trading using a Forex account at IG. For a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you. Right now, we are kind of coming into a little bit of a plane crash here on some of these chip names. Down 4% right now, and we're watching this go. Now we're $1 in on a couple different reloads here for AMD. And like I said, we're still bidding down here. When we put it in, it was like, oh yeah, like we're going to get 198.60s. Well, now we're 20 pennies away from that, and it's coming in right now. Here we go, coming back in for AMD. We're now 10 cents away from getting the fill. So wow, remember we were like, oh well, if you don't put this in, we don't ever get it. Then it came in and we got it. So there it comes in again. We're in the 60s. Let's see. I'm just going to leave it. It's been such a good trade here. Let's see if it comes back in, and we'll get that. Earnings after the close today.
Oracle.
Yeah, exactly there. Spoiler alert, but the only one that I wrote down was Oracle. We have Asana as well, ASAN, coming through. So that could be something. It hasn't really traded that well over the last little bit. So Asana, you know, kind of flat into there. So really it's what Neil just mentioned there, Oracle. We'll have to watch out for that report coming in at the end of the day. Oracle, look at this. Up 1.5 today, but nice little pullback. Surprised I missed that there on Oracle. We get that AMD trade. Wow, so there it is right there, a little bit of a face slapper there on AMD. As we've been tweeting this one out, we've been going back and forth with this name, but there it is, AMD, nice out. As we're starting to go lower and lower here, yeah, the day's getting better. So that's pretty good. The only trade I'm about to get out of, I feel like, as we head power hour, let's just take out Apple. Apple's been such a good long for us. We've really rode it all the way up. If this breaks, I'm not going to get out immediately in case it does break higher, but we're starting to converge here. So 172.60 break, let's just get out of that. Obviously, we had given up about 20 cents here, but we just made $1.60 on AMD, you know, favoring the short. So I'm going to be really happy with that and just hold on to this into the end of the day. So we'll get out of some Apple if it breaks below 70, or sorry, what did I say, 65. So I'll put that order in right now. And I mean, you know what order I'm canceling right here? I'm canceling a 171.97 break. So right here to give, we're long at 12s. So it's 15 cents worth of risk. So right now we're in the money 65. So let's put that stop in and see if it triggers.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Let some things ride, but it is power hour past 3 o'clock. I just got out at the bottom on Mara, so we're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's gates of hell for this. Down 7%. Remember I told you Bitcoin was at the high of the day.
Yeah.
And Mara just bounced off the low of the day. So the range has been 2240 to 2180-ish. And we're just able to grab that. If it gives us one more chance to do it, I don't want the long, but I'll fade it if it gets back up to the top. That's for sure. That's going to leave me with Rivian is the only one left. We bounced off 13. It got up to 13.10. It's bouncing off 13 again. It only went 5 cents last time, so I don't know. If it's really starting to tighten the range, then that's what we got to be able to take,
Boeing.
Unfortunately, on Rivian. That said, I think, we'll let you guys know, but I think we're close to ready for Ms. Daniel Shea in a few minutes, at least. And when that does happen, we'll let you guys know. Having you right, Jay Muck having bad for the miners, but it wasn't just that for Mara. Mara also had an offering. They tanked on earnings as well. So they kind of had a few things go wrong recently. That's why you're seeing some relative strength out of them. But let's go to the desk. We've got our Monday guest, Ms. Shea.
Yeah, we'll talk some options here on a Monday. Lots to get to this week. Still interesting earnings coming up this week, including, as the guys were saying, after the close tonight with Oracle. I see you actually looking at one that I was going to ask about earlier, Ms. Shea. Good to see you, by the way. Apple.
Good to see you too.
Both Apple and Google on a decent bounce here this afternoon, coming off of a couple of weeks here. no real catalyst to talk about right now, but there was a lot of articles I was reading or saw, at least over the weekend, about Rivian being a possibility for Apple. I mean, we'll let the Twitterverse deal with that, but let's talk Apple here to kick things off, because both bucking the trend here higher today. What do you think?
So when you look at Apple, I mean, I actually think that both Apple and Google are a little bit of a canary in the coal mine. Yes, they are bouncing. You've got this oversold bounce, but this is a major technical break. If you look at a daily chart here, you can see that the last 3 quarters in a row, it's traded lower post earnings. You have a break below the 200 simple, below the 50 simple, below the 100 simple. So for me, that means that the longer term bullish case has been broken. Now, yes, you are seeing basically a dead cat bounce, an oversold bounce here. And yes, I mean, you can trade it long up into the 8 EMA. We might be able to get a move up into about 178. That's a little suspect for me. But I think ultimately, as a swing trader, I mean, we're in a downward trend here. So I think that this is a big canary in the coal mine for tech right now.
Yeah, we've had this lingering AI concern for Google as well as Apple, in the sense for Apple anyways, that, when is it coming? We know it is in the works. It's just a matter of when do they actually come to the game. So possibly a catalyst in the near future here for Apple. But let's talk Alphabet. They had this Gemini debacle a couple of weeks back, but it seems a little bit better today than it has been over the past week or so, bouncing off some moving averages.
So when you look at Google, I think that it's a lot more favorable, especially compared to Apple, because you're holding that 200 simple on the daily chart. For me, I need to see a stock holding that 200 simple on the daily chart for me to be able to buy the dip on a swing basis. So I like the way that it held here right above 130. Now you're breaking through the 100 simple around 137, 138. So, for me, I think you could probably trade it up into 140, but when you get up into 142, that's going to be the key and pivotal line in the sand that it's got to get through there for it to be able to go. I do like Google on a long-term basis. I've still been buying shares of stock, and, you'll notice here that you have an upcoming earnings report April 23rd. So I would think once we get a little bit closer to the beginning of that pre-earnings run around March 22nd, that it could start going again. But, you're completely right about the AI story here. And the companies that have been moving to the upside are ones that are strong in AI. So we're definitely seeing, Google and Apple lag for those reasons.
Yeah, and it could be something maybe to look forward to for both coming up here in the near future. As mentioned, a ton of things coming up tonight. I'm just going over the board here for earnings. Oracle and Asana tonight, but more down the road as far as this week is concerned. Let's start with Oracle on the earnings front.
So when you look at Oracle, here's the thing. It's a strong company, strong stock. I like the pattern overall. I just like to caution traders because you can see that the last 2 quarters, it pulled back pretty significantly. Last quarter, it gapped down 10.8%. The quarter before that, it gapped down 11%. So, I went back and I was reading Oracle's previous earnings reports. And I think the main thing was that they just reduced their guidance for this year. So I'm a little hopeful that, maybe between last quarter and the quarter before, we've already had some bad news. And so I think that this quarter, maybe since everyone's expectations are a little bit lowered, I'm hopeful that we can trade higher here, especially because we have some positive support on these moving averages. We've, recovered really well from earnings last quarter, but let's hope that we don't get, 3 bad news quarters in a row. So positively optimistic here with an upside price target of about 120, 125.
We do get a few more in the retail sector coming up this week. There's Kohl's, Williams-Sonoma, DLTR. DLTR coming up on Wednesday. I want to make sure we get to the big one, Adobe, this week. But touch on the retail side of things, maybe from a higher standpoint here, this earnings season, and Kohl's and then DLTR.
So, these retail tickers are just so varied depending on what kind of tickers they are, right? When you have the discount brands, especially something like Walmart, it's really strong. And then you have department stores, those are getting completely trounced. And so it really depends on which store you're looking at. And it also depends which ones have short interest as well. Because if you're looking at something that hasn't been doing very well, but perhaps it has some high short interest, that can give that can give traders a reason to trade it to the upside. So just looking at Kohl's, for example, we only have about 6% short float in this, so it's not really high enough, but it's recovered really well after even a down move last quarter. So, I mean, when I look at the stock, you know, it doesn't look very positive, right? We've been in a downtrend. We've gapped down multiple quarters after earnings, but I will say it's at least trying to hold on here. So in these kind of situations, typically what I do is I just sell premium. I'll sell the at the money calls and puts and buy some outer legs for protection, because you have high implied volatility and you have a stock that moves a lot, and it moves both up and down. So I generally like to take a neutral trade approach with options over that earnings report.
And then a couple here I think that are maybe a little bit of a flyer. UiPath is kind of interesting. Always there's that short side of things, but there's always a question mark around earnings time when it comes to UiPath, and then we'll get to Adobe after.
Yeah, for sure. What's the ticker for that one?
Path.
Right. Okay. You know, I haven't traded this one before. I know that this one's talked about quite a bit, but when you look at this, and especially if you take that short interest into account, we've got only 4% short float on that one. So again, you know, not really high enough, but I will say that with the previous gap up, after earnings, that is something that I'll look at, because that can be a signal that you have a newfound positive trajectory. So, you know, for tickers like this, and the reason why I don't generally trade them a lot, and I know everybody's looking at them, but the thing is, they're just so volatile and they're all over the place. So if you look at the up and down moves, you know, half the time it's up, half the time it's down, but the moves are so varied, it makes it really challenging for me to make a neutral trade on it, because you've got a 14% up, a 1% up, a 10% up, a 17% up. So that's why I tend to avoid these. But if you do have a big gap up like this, you might be able to get a momentum trade after the fact.
Well, keep an eye on it. Again, one of those ones we typically only look at around earnings season if it has a big miss or something and is very volatile. A lot of people, including a few people in this room, are awaiting Adobe earnings coming up this week. I think that's the headliner. What are your thoughts on Adobe?
Oh, definitely. So, you know, I really like Adobe, and it's very similar to Oracle, because these are two companies where I own the shares. You know, I like the long-term plan. I like their products, but with both of them, I have to caution traders, because the last 2 quarters, I mean, they've gone down. So, you know, you want to be careful when you're trading tickers like that, because especially, I mean, you can see with Adobe, even though they have regularly beat estimates, they beat estimates 12 out of the last 12 quarters. But if you look at how many times it's gapped down, even though they beat, you really have to be cautious going into that report. Now, that being said, it is holding up well on the 200 simple. We have a $41 expected move in this name, and we have an overhead resistance target at about 590. So I think that would actually overlap pretty well if we get a bullish move in this name, because that's a pretty good target zone and area of resistance. So what I may do with this one is I may place some bullish butterflies at 590. And then in the instance that it breaks down, because here's the thing with Adobe is that if it breaks down below this 200 simple, that's where it's really going to go. So you don't want to see it breaking down below, I would say about 535. If it does, I mean, you could be down here at 500. So sometimes with some of these names where you can see that it regularly trades lower, even though it's a strong company, strong stocks, sometimes I'll have a lotto trade down there at that key psychological value in case it rolls over.
A few other interesting names coming up here this week. Maybe, is there anything that's catching your eye as far as companies set to report this week? I mean, we get this big inflation print tomorrow, so overall the market in a bit of a wait and see here.
So the only other one that I was looking at, I mean, I would say that you picked out, you know, the critical names that I was looking at, but the other one that I want to see what happens with is going to be Lennar. So, you know, the housing market is very in focus right now. We're getting into that spring buying season. We have high rates still, but we still have really low supply. And so when you look at the home builders, this is definitely something that's going to be in focus, because the home builders have been to do well because they're able to give those seller incentives. And so this has been, you know, strong stock. And it's been doing really well, but you can see that the
Uh-oh.
last quarters, the I'm looking at this one. I also have a couple others into it. Intel that I'm looking at for
That's
swing
her, right?
trades, but I think this one is another one that's on my radar for this week.
You cut out there briefly, but I think people got the gist for Lennar. Yeah, another one that's been very, very strong throughout the beginning of this year. Great stuff as always. Danielle Shea, great to see you as always.
Thank you.
Adobe
Intel.
talk there. I like the Adobe talk.
Tell that to Sharif. Swing trade Intel. Hopefully he meant long.
We'll see what happens. I like that. I like those Adobe levels as well. Thank you, Danielle,
Yeah.
for coming through. I didn't realize they had beat so much, but then got beat up after that as well. Here's Adobe, in my opinion. We talked about this on the podcast coming Thursday night. You know, just up today. You know, like when the market's been red, and we've had, here's some crypto notes here, just listening. Oh, Van Eck to...
What's the news?
Oh, nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. The news is just, I'm just hearing in my ear again. We do have Benzing in the ear here. Van Eck going to go zero trading fees. That's all in Bitcoin ETF. I thought it was something to do with this because during the break, you mentioned that Bitcoin once again failing off the highs, and that's what it just did. This is a 1 minute chart. So right here, we do fail one more time on that Bitcoin level. So we'll zoom this back out a little bit just to have a quick look. So we're just falling back in. That's interesting to look at. So watch out for basically 72.8. You know, you break above that, we'll have Bitcoin down there. You're going to want to get long something, I would imagine, if we break above it. Failed it now for a couple times. We'll see how consistent that can be. AMD right now, again, a trade that we put on with you. And hopefully you guys have it. If not, all good. There it is right there. We put this on at $2.50, so about 30 minutes ago. It's now a $2 winner in the club. So that's going to be a good one right there. And then we talked about Boeing. We tweeted this out. It just went about $1.30 back into the upside. As this market falls down, I like Boeing. We just hit these highs, though. That was probably a smart decision to get out. It goes back into there, so we should have done that. 193.20 if it gets back up to the upside there for Boeing. Targeted out now that we finally has it. Should have been there before. It's okay that we missed it. We'll get Boeing out 193.20, and then because we follow our rules, here comes Boeing right back again. There's our Apple out. So we'll save ourselves a little bit and spin it. Apple, good trade today. Happy with it, a green name, and we took advantage of that. We held it pretty good all the way to the upside. We didn't take advantage of that AI boom. That was my bad. But again, don't have offers out, you don't get filled. So that could have been a good little level there. But even as the news came out, I could have punched out, was holding it, thought could have been room to run, wasn't. So we'll get out there, save a little bit.
Well, it took a hot minute to get to see what the exact news was.
Yeah, and it was just like it was going. Then we heard it was AI.
But it wasn't the AI we wanted.
Do I think what could hit 205 tomorrow?
AMD, probably. What's that 200? What's that?
Well, AMD's at 200, I guess. But buy Intel better versus
Mars,
AMD.
you're saying Intel is better than AMD.
It might be at these levels. I mean, the difference between this is...
Actually, I've been saying this for a while. I don't like the comparison between Intel and AMD anymore. I think Intel's trying to do something completely different. They're not going to get the same advantage in the AI space. They're trying to compete with TSM. That is the big change that they are making. So yes, they have the legacy business, which overlaps, but they fell behind a bit in technology and are trying to catch up there. So I don't love the comparison. I think, like, I own both, and I own Intel for a totally different reason than AMD. Now, maybe AMD's got expensive, so you think Intel's a better value for the legacy business, but I still think you're betting on the foundry play. The only position I'm in is back into Mara because when Bitcoin wicked that high, I jumped back into, like, Bitcoin wicks the top. This is IBIT, guys. It wicked the top and came back underneath. At that moment, Mara was breaking the low. So I got out of Mara, and then when Bitcoin failed the highs, I just shorted it again. Essentially, look, if we got out in front of 80s, I got back in when 80 broke to the downside on Mara. So really, it's like the gift that keeps on giving. Down 8% today. The big level on Mara, however, is right down here, 2140. We get to that price, I'm out. It gets to 2140. That was a triple bottom last week. I think if that level gets broken tomorrow, it could be nasty. If it bounces off that level, it could squeeze. I mean, like, Mara could squeeze at any time because of its short float, but a big level to watch coming in tomorrow. If Bitcoin were to continue its breakout, at some point this could actually get dragged with it. But for now, you've got relative weakness. We forgot to look at Coinbase. off
Hey,
those
what
highs.
happened?
But you know what? Coinbase as well.
No, I put the wrong
As
order out.
Bitcoin is wicking the tops, Coinbase broke down too. Like it broke support and fell. Like that's some relative weakness that you're starting to see in some of these other names.
I'm having the wrong orders out here. Yeah, I was just trying to buy some Coinbase here because I'm the same thing with you. I feel like I don't
Why is it
understand.
falling like this?
Exactly. I don't understand what's happening there. So we're going to get in and out of Coinbase there. No damage. We went long at 261 to 262 because that was the bottom. We just got out there at 262. So I said I was fumbling around there. I kept on. I thought I was long, I wasn't. I punched out. I put the wrong stop first. It was a nightmare, but it started to go back down to the downside right now. So let's just hold the short. We're now breaking lower. This is almost $3 now in the money on AMD as AMD is taking down the lows as we speak. Yeah, so you're coming back in. I mean, the very, very low is 197 flat. So you're getting into that spot like immediately right now. So let's go have some downside pressure in this market. And we've got it right now. Man, that's going to look like, I hope, a good out there on Apple. A good out on Apple. Boeing, we may just have to tap this out. I'm still going to wait in case the market does come back upside a little bit. Not a big, huge trade for Boeing, but we were lucky enough to get this fill. That came in the second time. So that was much better than that break. So we were able to take a lot out at that past high. We're trying to let it go higher. This is one thing that I'm trying to do.
Let it go.
Yeah, keep trying to let things go just a little bit longer.
By the way,
there.
getting out of coin might have been good. Bitcoin just wicked the top again.
Yeah.
Like, this is now the second time this afternoon where you have broken the morning high, gotten a couple of, it's a couple of cents on IBIT, and then right back underneath. And you were already weak when it came to Mara and Coinbase. So I think that's going to weigh in on this a little bit as it continues to fall in both. There was a question in the chat, Mr. Meme saying, why didn't I short Rivian? Not every trade, like I was long 13s, got some out 10s, but then stopped out tight underneath the support level. Not every out is a reversal. I feel like you get out when it looks like you're wrong. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a short from there. Obviously, in complete hindsight, exactly where I got out could have been a short entry. But you either I'm reversing that trade as part of a plan or I'm not. And I was never really thinking that. I think you got to have some kind of rules. But yeah, you get out for a reason because you think the stock is no longer a good long or short at that level. Sometimes it can mean a good reverse, but not 100% of the time. If you just reversed every single trade that you ever took, I just think you'd make a mess, to be honest. Like I don't see any way that you could be profitable if you're constantly saying, if it hits my stop, I'm going in the other direction. Yeah, that could never work.
No, I got to have, it could work, but you got to have a bias one way. Maybe if the market is flat.
I think it'd be so random that you just pay a bunch of fees.
Yeah.
Like you'd have no edge at that point. You have to have some idea of a reason.
Plus, sometimes you get stopped out, and then that level holds. So if you were to go short, you're long, you get stopped out at a 200 break, and then you go short 200, and then the thing pops up to 201. Then you're gonna hang up the gloves faster.
You're gonna be kicking yourself.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a fun thing to do. Right there. Okay, we're getting ready to wrap up here. It's 3:20. It's still lots of time here, but the market continues to make moves in the chip space. I did want to look at ARM again because I feel like tomorrow could be a good day. It's not much is happening right now, so I feel like that's pretty hard pass for many traders at these levels now for ARM because it's kind of at the bottom. I would much rather see it up here. We've talked about when and where we like some of these trades, and I don't think right here is a good level for ARM. So let's just wait to see where it goes. But ARM right now, I feel like it's a good pass right here.
I jinxed Alibaba.
Did it go down? Or?
No, because I'm pretty sure off the top, I'm like, I don't really see much of a trade in Alibaba, but as long as this thing can hold 75 today, things look really good tomorrow. Yeah. Well, what is it? It's right at the 75 level. I don't know if it's going to hold it. I was just merely getting at it looked really good if it could hold the top end of that flag and maybe do another gap up, and then we could get another run. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't seem to move the way I want to see it in the long-term account. Oh, I do want to acknowledge there was that talk about Intel and AMD. I think some of it's spurred by Intel being up 1.5% today, but it never broke 45. No 45 break. I have to do some soul searching because in my note today, I had an over-under level of 44 on to me, I wrote down 44 as an over-under level on Intel, and I was willing to short it underneath, but I was not willing to go long when it trended over that price. If a stock trends over a price like that, and I'm thinking that's a level I want to trade in both directions. I should have been long at some point in Intel, which I was not. Tomorrow 45 break is going to stand out for us. I think a lot of things, I set up a few things for tomorrow. One of them, Intel 45, Neo, that $6.30 level, and Mara, this 2140, which it wants. I think we're going to get the low of the day again here on Mara, but that's that 2140 level, triple bottom last week. Bitcoin has been all the jam. Brad saying Tesla not looking too hotty. Well, what looks hot right now, except for some things short? Like I just got the low of the day again. We'll ring the register on Mara as it gets back down into the bottom. Now down 9% on the day. So we shorted it, we got out at the low, then we got back in at the low. Oh well. This continues to fall.
Mara got that Sharif touch there. What's up? Oh, by the way, the Packers, so they wind up taking a $5.2 million cap it and release Aaron Jones. So, again, signing Josh Jacobs to the 3-year deal, I guess.
But why wouldn't you just not take the cap hit and pay Jones something?
They just want that better. I mean, it's just.
No, I'm not saying he's not better.
I mean, Jacobs ran for.
I know, yeah, he's probably better.
25 touchdowns, not that many.
I like Aaron.
A couple of years ago, it was huge. Okay, yeah, someone else will have to like Aaron Jones now. There it is, right here.
Bye-bye.
It's a $1, it's a $2, it's a $3 winner rate now, and there we go, man. We'll be at the highest spot of our day if and when we get out of AMD. And again, stick with your guns, man. That's what we wrote down here. Short AMD, and we did that, and there it goes. Nicely done into the downside. And we talked about picking on this name, and this is a trade that, again, pretty much built right in front of everybody. Pretty happy with it. Happy with the Apple out, but if you're going to look for something strong, Apple's going to be the one that's going to be strong. Check back on Meta. We talked about trying to get that name short. Missed it, but again, a weaker name into a weaker market. We said we wanted to look for that. That's Meta. Did DraftKings, how far down did DraftKings go? Oh my God, tell me. Oh no. All right, so this is a missed opportunity. We talked about going short DraftKings. I hope someone had it against that 42.30, but we didn't take it. We should have. I saw that news about Penn, and we did that whole North Carolina bullshit. BS, and then I was like, okay, forget it. Maybe there's something there, and then DraftKings just to the downside. Now I know DraftKings and Penn are different, but I thought like another state accepting might have been better for DK and G's, but it looks like we're going to be pretty right about that one. All right, you know what? I mean, $3 in the money is juicy for AMD, but maybe like we're just at this bottom again. Do we just ring the Reggie on this one? I feel like that could be a decent idea. Let's just check on NVIDIA again here as we're at the low of the day. Okay, so I mean, NVIDIA's also, man.
Lots of things.
It feels silly. It does really feel silly to get out of AMD if NVIDIA even tries to break this 850. It'll be gone. The slippage on this 850 will be huge. You did slippage today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so watch out for this. So look, already it's 60 cents, right? This is the level 1. So wait to see what happens when it hits. It's already broke 50.
Probably right to 40 and a half.
But it's going to go like the first time on the morning dropped $40. You know, you get down to 845, let alone this bottom of 844. This is going to be a big, huge move in for that. Still $3 on this name and 70 cents in the money on Boeing. So, ooh man, I think we're going to have to watch out for NVIDIA breaking lower right now. Watch out for 550. It's going to come in, man. I know you sold some obviously there at 920. That was a good out. We sold some at 880 as well.
922.22.
Yeah, so
don't discount that extra $2.22 per share, which means absolutely nothing on a $900 stock. It's just I was going to sell in front of the quarters, and that seemed like a fun number to put in. But I mean, who knows? Like I'm not trying to call a top. My weighting in my personal portfolio was it got so top heavy on chips that I was just selling some. AMD is a stock that I'm not really buying anymore. So I was just going to probably trim that anyways. If like what I would be buying right now, if it comes back down enough, would be an NVIDIA. And this could be at the 50 period, and that would be $200, $180 from here, $200 as of this morning, but $180 to the 50 period moving average. To the 200 period moving average, you're talking about $350. That's at 5 bills. So like these levels, like when you don't think, that wouldn't be unreasonable. You haven't even broken the trend without breaking 750 at least. Like it's completely insane what this has done. So I'm not saying it's going to go down there, but it is what it is. 850 seems to be bouncing. Ideally, if that level is going to break, you want it breaking before the imbalances come out, I think.
So I just canceled my stop for AMD, and because I was looking to see where it was. It was at $200.31. So we're giving this trade 31 cents worth of room. And we just took $3 and we'll cash out of that. So we are now out of that 10-1 right there. And I tell you the stops when I put them in. So, 10-1 on that, but we only had 10% left, or maybe a little bit more. But anyways, not good trade for sure. We did take pieces out as we came back in. As I don't know, predicting, as me and Neil just said there, it can be really tough to try to predict exact levels of where these stocks are going to wind up. But right there, we're at the highest spot we've done today, so we'll spin it right there on that and take it out. And now we'll just watch Boeing with only a half hour left. We'll see if those imbalance feeds are starting to work again. They work for us, but we didn't get the totals the last couple times from Financial Juice. But coming in today, I mean, it's pretty mixed up. BNS has always been on there, GM, Suncor, all this kind of stuff. Make sure you scan that on Trade Ideas right there, heading into the final half hour to grab 20% off your Trade Ideas ticket. So, all right, nice move there. IBIT, we saw that come up. We talked about that 72.8 or so level coming into play there for crypto. Geez, Tesla?
Palantir is almost at 25 even.
Palantir's falling in. Okay. I think it was 2380 or so level for PLTR. Geez, Tesla, you're right. Wow, up to 180 again and straight falling down here for Sir Tesla coming back in. So it's
about it now.
Yeah, that's it was sort of in control early. That's why we sort of was like, wow, King Tesla back early. But there it is, dropping through and now still up that 1%. I'd say you want to look at some of these pre-market levels now. Let's see if it holds 175 again. Tesla coming in pretty good right here.
Guess what's starting to go? Oh no, I got bad wicks. Hopefully your chart's a little better on Apple to be able to show these guys, everybody. Apple bouncing nicely off 172.5. I got a bad wick in there, which makes it's kind of skewed. But it looks to me like 173 could go, and then you get a bit of a breakout trade. Maybe my 15 minutes gonna look a little bit better, not much, but you'll get some kind of an idea here. Not really. If you break the 173, it's got a little bit of room to rally, but I cannot get over. Mara made a fresh low, 21.20. So it made the flat bottom break. At this time of the day, I'm not a huge fan of taking a bottom break like that and going short. I'd rather be short like we did into it, and then that way, if it bounces off that level, you can be getting out. But instead, like trying to short this bottom seems a little bit dicey. Coinbase could be in play. This is right off of its lows from this morning, all the way down to 258. This is not setting up to be fantastic. If the market doesn't give you some kind of bounce here, a lot of stocks, if they don't make a bit of a bounce, there's going to be some nasty closes because coin was strong all day. Bitcoin is close enough to the highs that you wouldn't have expected this kind of a pullback, but you're getting it anyways, and you got to respect it. I still think Apple maybe through that 173 could be pretty good, but you're starting to run out of time. We said we would not be getting the early look on the imbalances only because we haven't been in a while, but when 330 hits, you can look at individual names just to see what's going on here. Not a heck of a lot. I wanted to see if maybe Palantir is a sell of 850, and that's a stock that I was trading to the sell side. So that's actually confirmatory in terms of the direction that we're looking at. The problem, Palantir at the lows. We went 1 for 2 in the afternoon in Palantir. Should have gone to it a third time. I shorted Mara instead. Should have done them both. I could have had both of those trades, and you're right back at those bottoms on Palantir. I think it's a fade. I'm not going to try to go long. Short that one. Timon, Intel's not weird. Intel sometimes in the chip space, and you're probably wondering why it's at the highs when all the other chip names are flushing. A lot of times Intel gets the yin to the yang where you get the growthy, higher, what's the word I want to use here? Maybe higher PE, more expensive stocks from an earnings standpoint. And then Intel becomes a bit of the value play. So when they're weak, Intel sometimes can be strong and then vice versa. So I think you get a little bit of that with Intel. But the 45 level is a pretty decent barrier. It was a big level on Friday, right at midday. This flushed off the 45. If it can't punch through that, I'd almost think at 350, that could be a sell into 45. Get a little bit of a pop in Intel. And then if the imbalance comes out your favor, you could be short in the high 90s with a 45 even stop. I like that. I like those when they're at the high of the day and you look for a mean reversion trade. Let's go to the desk and take care of some business.
Segment of the show brought to you by Trade Ideas. Real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk by many of our traders every day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 20% off.
Mr. Love Shack, value versus growth. That's what I was looking for. I said everything close to that without actually saying value versus growth. But that would be the argument that a lot would make as to why sometimes Intel and AMD or Intel and NVIDIA don't always move lockstep. That said, Micron's down 3.5% today, and they're not exactly ridiculously expensive. So you can have all the theories in the world about value versus growth. The market's going to do whatever the heck it wants to do. Explain to me why Micron is so weak and still at the lows.
Prominent professor, nah, nothing. Okay, that's not me about Tesla. There, nothing. All right, we talked about the stronger name was going to be Apple in there. Boeing, I mean, I wish I had a little bit more to trade there. What's up? What is imbalance? We got a super chat right here. So the imbalances are just what's to come at the end of the day. So you get market on close orders and market on open orders. So what we'll be able to find, and it's a good question. So we have early access, and so do other platforms. I think someone said Thinkorswim has them as well. Anyways, you can ask your broker if you have market on open or close imbalances. So what this is just going to say that at 350, these are all going to become public information, and you're going to see some kind of a buy or sell imbalance, and then the stock will react to that. And these are orders that are going to have to get fulfilled at the closing price. So if you have Coke with like a big monster buy at the end, and it's like there's only a minute left or something like that on Coke, and it still has a big buy imbalance, like right there, 1 million shares, it's only done almost 8 million on the day. So you're going to have like 16% or so of the imbalance coming. Oh, there, yeah, 1.1 million.
Dying right now. Whoa.
Anyways, that's what the imbalance is. Coin is getting hit. What is the market? 72.3.
Coin just broke 56.
So, I mean,
Mara just broke 21 even.
What? Okay.
Whoa, that's... well, I guess we shouldn't have got out of that short.
We can ask Adara. She's over there if she finds anything about Coinbase. But again, remember, we got that news. It was just... I mean, the news that I heard was that Fidelity's going 0 fees. But,
yeah.
I mean, that would affect Coinbase maybe, that people will be trading less. I mean, more ETFs, but... I don't know. I mean, there's already other ETFs that are 0 fee. So I just, you know what? I mean, Coinbase just came back into the low of the day. Bitcoin is coming back a little bit off that high. So maybe there could be something there. I don't see anything. I mean, I have the Benzinga Pro platform here as well. So if anything hits, you know, Adair has a couple more different resources that we can search. But, you know, for me, there's nothing there. And I don't think it's anything that major. The Mara, and I just kid about Sharif and everything, you know, mining with this halving, I've already talked about it. I don't know enough about it, so I'm going to hold off on like what this means for the miners. But Mara on their earnings report, or the day before, maybe it was the day after, dropped I think it was an offering.
Yes.
So that, you know, that's not nice when they do that. But it bounced off okay from there. Now you're below the 50 period. I said the other day that I don't mind this stock in and around 22. Now you're starting to fade out a little bit. So
it had to hold that level. I mean, the support level at 22 was gold. It bounced $3 off that on Friday. You know what I mean? Like,
strange.
You know what I'm saying? Like the level off 22. Last week alone, you got, I mean, this bounce was $1 change. This bounce was $1.50. This bounce was $3. It just didn't bounce off the level again today. But if you played 22 long, you won. And so what? You know what? When you play levels like that, eventually, if you play a support level enough for a win, you go 3 in a row, and your last one's a loser, you don't care. Who cares? That's the cost of doing business, as long as you were playing that level before. I'm just mad that we didn't hold on to the short, because like all of a sudden we're accelerating down, and I'm not even sure. Okay, there was a bit of a move there in IBIT. Well, now it's starting to really break. Yeah, you broke a little bit of support there in IBIT. I actually had to full screen my chart to be able to see that. So continuing to flush there as we're going to Adara for, I believe it's the afternoon heat map.
You're going to take a look at some of these S&P 500 companies that made big moves on the day that maybe we haven't discussed as much earlier, including Newmont Corporation. NEM is the ticker for this one. This one up about 4%. This is a gold-related company, so it does seem to be up amidst this overwhelming strength for gold right now. So nice look for NEM. We also have here to the upside BIIB. This is Biogen collaborating with AbCellera for this neurological-related treatment with antibodies. So nice look as well for BIIB, up almost 3%. And last but not least here, Moderna up about 10% right now. This one came out a little bit later today after its run early in the morning. That there is some talk, nothing confirmed yet, but some analysts discussing that there might be a new skin cancer treatment trial in collaboration with Merck on the horizon for mRNA. Lots of big movers here in the S&P 500, guys.
Yeah,
Always
Moderna was a
is,
rocket today.
Yeah, Moderna was a rocket ship there. We talked about some IBB or XBI. Oh, man.
Have a look at Moderna in the teens here on the daily. Like, look at
wow.
this. Look at this level
Good
from.
level,
This
yeah.
is actually January, so this is actually like the year high is 116. Maybe we get this break tomorrow. Ideally, I prefer a breakout where it goes back up there and consolidates, and then it breaks it. So give it a day or two, let it breathe, let it wind up a little bit, and get some shorts interested in it, and then break out that top at 16. There's some overhead resistance at 18. That just means you can scalp at 16 to 18, and if 18 breaks, you can take that one too. 10% today. You know it's the kind of stock that can go $10 like it's going out of style on a single move, which makes it fun to trade. But you do want it to break out at some point. Wow, these crypto names are really getting smoked to the downside. I mean, I guess Coin didn't have an obvious setup, but you're now red on the day. And we could be looking at 250. Like, look at how high this thing was up. I mean, if it gets back to, like, if it breaks 250, the 50 period's at $160 on Coinbase. Like, why can't it get to 200, 210? This could be one heck of a short. Even with a modest pullback in BTC, this could be a heck of a short in Coinbase. Because it hasn't really done one of those quadrants. Like, it had a pullback from 190 into 110, but this latest move, it's been chilling to 270. 250 break tomorrow could be a spicy one. Disney's apparently running, though. Oh, good.
As long as it's going up, we like some Disney for sure. We had looked at Coinbase and really liked that 180 down to 130 or 120. Then we talked about it at 120, 130 as it forming a base to the downside. Oh man, that should have been long down there. All right, AMD. Remember when we got out of it down there at 197? Well, it ripped up to 198.25. So that's like saved us right there. That was a good one. We're not going to reload it. Honestly, into the close, there's only 20 more minutes left. 199 and change, 200. I had such like, the weekend was so crazy. We had so much going on. We didn't get home till like 11 something after the PWHL game on, which isn't that late, but on Friday.
That's late with kids though.
Yeah, that's late with kids, but, and then we were up okay early on Saturday. I had to go get my kid who slept over at grandma's house there. That was a lot of fun. And then.
Yeah, what was up? Okay.
It was on the podcast there.
I have questions about that too, but.
Yeah.
I was gonna save that for, because we talked about a few of the topics. I was gonna save that for like another day.
Oh yeah, Brendan's not here.
And Brendan's also not here. So if you caught the podcast, which you should, and if you didn't, now you can listen to it, and we'll pick this up again later in the week. There was some discussion about sleeping over. Like,
yeah, I mean, who loves sleeping over at your grandparents' place?
So you talked about your uncle. You know,
my uncle. No, his uncle.
No, he said about his uncle, but you said. You like staying over at the grandparents'?
Yeah, of course.
The pilot.
Yeah.
So my parents were hardcore. Sugary cereals we couldn't have. We didn't drink pop in my house. But my cousin who's a pilot, his parents
did.
Every single time we'd stay over there.
Exactly.
They had the biggest stockpile. It was like 7-Eleven. They had every flavor of pop or soda that you could even imagine. And we got to go there, and my aunt would hook us up every time. Like that was like. It was such a big.
That's what grandparents do. That was
and grandparents do the
to
same
get to that. I don't know.
I love that discussion.
Weird.
Like that's one of my favorite things as a kid. And the best thing about having family that can be close is to be able to give your kids the opportunity to spend time with grandparents, spend time with aunts and uncles, because they gotta get spoiled. Like you gotta keep, as a parent, you gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta keep it real all the time.
Gotta keep it real for sure.
I love that.
Well, that's why I said the story about like as a kid myself. And that's why I got to listen to the podcast.
Yes.
The grandparents sneaking in some chocolate in there. You always get to go to McDonald's, all these kind of fun things. But anyways, my kids love it.
I'm sure George and Deb spoiled.
Oh yeah, big time. He gets whatever he wants.
That's John's parents.
Eats whatever he wants all the time. Yeah, they're loving that. Especially after they go to he won his hockey game. It's playoffs.
Oh, that's
he's loving life right there. Okay. So just a couple more minutes left, guys. 9:43 again. If there any names you guys want us to look at, we'll go over to Roku quickly to see how that's recovered. There was some news. It recovered, but fell back in, just still zeros on the day. A lot of talk there. We love Palantir over here, so let's have a quick look to see what Palantir's doing. Again on the day here. Making lows right now, actually, as we zoom back out. Again. All right, so yeah, Palantir would have been a good short. We always look at it as a long, but like sometimes I got to look at it a different way. Like shorting off VWAP, we only popped through it once. All those other shorts pretty good. The 200 period right there, breaking through the 200. So yeah, Palantir, yuck. We'll wait to see about a long once it gets back into $24. Let's leave that alone right now. And then you said Intel's starting.
Intel's at the high of the day. And this was, I thought this could be a play for 350 because Intel always has some kind of an imbalance that's a decent size and then it'll pair off. So you almost get a free roll if it's in the 90s at 348 or 349 to short in the high 90s with like a 45 stop. And if the imbalance comes out of sell, you get a pop down. If it comes out of buy, you're stopping out at 45 anyways. But let's keep in mind, yes, it is strong today, but relative to what happened on Friday, I mean, look, everything got smoked on Friday, so I'm not saying this chart stands out, but this was at $47 at the open on Friday and at $44 at the close. So this dollar that it's moved back in the grand scheme of things isn't gigantic, and we are still underneath the 50-period moving average ever so barely. That's 45 and change here on Intel. So yeah, good bounce off 41. The more I look at this, so I say this all the time, sometimes your bias in the direction can get you in trouble because you might miss an opportunity. And ever since it broke the 50 period, I was thinking shorts as a day trader on Intel and missed this thing bouncing off $41. That is clearly a level on Intel, 41, 41, 41. Next time it gets to 41, I'll at least try to trade it as a day trader because that's been good support there on Intel, great bounce. I don't know why. I know why, because we're thinking shorts under the 50 period, but that's why. Marvell's breaking out too.
Is it? Yeah, something that's starting to go. I'm going to take Apple long. If Apple breaks 173, it's doing the VWAP dance right now at 173. It looks like we kind of broke it. I didn't get long there though, so a little bit of a break above 173, like 173.02, 03, something like that. We'll get long on Apple, and I'm going to play it down to the 50 period, what we just bounced off of. So 75, 25 cents worth of room, I think is worth it. We'll see if we can go 1-to-1 on this one quickly. If we can get a 25 break, we'll get it. Remember, we are now minutes away from the imbalance coming out. So if Apple comes out as a sell imbalance and I'm stuck long, it will probably punch me out. So there it is. Okay, well, now we're long on Apple. Okay, so there's a 173 break. We just took it. We got 173 flats on that one. So here we go. Let's see. We are now executing our plan. So this gets back up to 20. We'll do it. We'll put the stop order in right for everybody to see right now at 172. I mean, we do this all the time here on the show. I'll just show you what I'm doing. I did this on AMD, which turned out to be a $3 winner. We put that stop order in for you as well. 172.75 or so breaking lower. We'll get out of it. Let's just get out of it all. So again, not a huge position right now into the closing stop part of the day, but it is trying to stack it up. Right now we have 0 LFT, which means we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. And, you know, current trade notwithstanding, because we're out of the money now 5 cents, but we'll wait on that one. And we're still up on the day because the Boeing trade right now being in the money 80 cents is bigger than this one. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here with Apple, but look at that. There's the fail up top. We're only going to take a 25-cent hit. And if it happens, you'll see me take it to hit live. Looks like it's coming right back in now. Look at this. So that was a horrible right there. Horrible move to go long, as we're going to get stopped out in just a matter of seconds here on Apple. So we'll slap the fail on this one. We thought it was going to take that 173 high side there. An aggressive stock long today that we've made money on, but there it is. We'll slap a fail. So 25 cents. You know, comes and goes, and it just went right there on Apple. I wonder if that's going to be the bottom, but I'm not going to punch back in. Too many imbalances coming through there, so we'll wait on that one, but we will give some back there on Apple.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to take that Intel at the high of the day and might give some back on this, but I said it in front of 350, the time 350, I will look to short off the top on Intel. Actually tried to get more shares at 88. I'm at 87. I'm trying to get some more at 88. And then if it pulls back, maybe we can see VWAP on some kind of an imbalance. What is crazy, this will be the frustrating. I said I'm not going to punch short at the low of the day again on Mara, and I should have punched short at the low of the day. If you just hit the low like we did before, it then flushed another 70 cents to the downside. Mara was down 7% when we shorted it. Now it's down 11.5%. Coinbase was positive on the day. Now it's down 0.5%. So absolutely flushing. I mean, BTC barely even fell. And it's been a bit of a woodshed there in a couple of those crypto names. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like it is what it is. You're going to trade your plan of action. I'll ask myself why I didn't continue back in. And that's the same thing with Palantir. We put 2 shorts on. We'll see how the third one goes because Intel is different than shorting Palantir and Mara, as those were weak stocks, and Intel, I'm actually shorting it off the high of the day, so that is a bit of a difference. Generally speaking, you want to short weak stocks and go long strong ones. generally speaking. But it's 350. This is a bit gimmicky at the high of the day. Just looking for a hold of that high of the day and then a bit of a pop to the downside on potentially imbalances. If it breaks the top on the imbalances, my stop is pretty clean at the high of the day.
Yeah, no crazy news here or anything like that, but Tesla confirmed already. They knew this was going to happen. They're raising the prices, I think, $1,000 on Model Y. So that's happening right now, but that's not doing anything. So just that's, I just wanted to hear that because it is coming through. It's as planned price raise for Model Y today happening. I think they said North America. So maybe here in Canada and the US, they're $1,000 more onto your Model Y tab.
Neighbors just got one.
Okay, yeah, they weren't that expensive, man. Model Ys were like 55 grand Canadian.
Yeah,
it's not that expensive.
Well, I mean, we still won.
Yeah, that's the rear wheel drive, not the all-wheel drive. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to come out in just a couple seconds here with the imbalances. And there you go. Watch out for Tesla here. Apple's dancing around on these imbalances. You see what I mean? So here we go. We are now out. We'll get those numbers from ADR when we get them. But as you can see, I don't see any now. There's Apple. Apple comes, ooh, it was a buy right there. So there's Apple with a buy coming out again. So we'll have to watch to see where it goes now. But Apple with the buy and ADR.
Nothing else is there.
Nothing yet from ADR, but when we get it, we'll figure that out. But Palantir, it doesn't look like a big move. Palantir with a sell.
Intel's a
Apple's
small
a
sell.
buy, not moving around too much. So it doesn't seem like it's a big number here at all.
Intel was only 700,000 to the sell side, which is not that much. Intel, that's the kind of name that can be over $1 million when it comes out with an imbalance. So I did get a fill at 81s down there, short at 87, the high is like 93. Yeah, it's not a huge imbalance. I mean, it's enough that it popped it to the downside a few pennies, but for a stock this strong, that's not going to be enough. I'm going to jump out of this one first chance we can get. I thought you'd get a better sized imbalance than that on Intel. Palantir, at least, it was interesting, especially, look, Palantir off these lows, this could be spicy. So sell it was, there it is. There you go, Palantir. It's only about 770,000 to the sell side, but back in front of that 25 level and down 2.5%. Keep in mind, this is Palantir pulling back into prior resistance. So if it bounces off of 25, that is trend up, bounce spot. Just because the stock falls into a level like this doesn't mean I'm thinking flat bottom break. If it holds 25, the stairs up has been higher lows on Palantir. I think you can look for that potentially tomorrow. It just has to hold the 25 level. That's first things first. So Intel, we got like 5 cents on or 6 cents on that trade, and I'm not sure we're going to get any more. Not a very big imbalance, unfortunately.
No, the market here is starting to fade out a little bit.
What's the number?
We 400 to buy. So pretty small there. Thanks to Derek for that one. But yeah, we're starting just to piece out everything. We're actually out. We're actually done. So right there, we just got Boeing at 50s. I was watching it. It broke the 50-period moving average. It was the only trade we had on. So that created that opportunity. And like I said, we're ending the day at our highest spot. We take that out. Apple was a small hit, but it was a hit. Right there, we talked about that. And again, still positive name, obviously, for that one. We're never, ever, and honestly, I'm not just because we lost there, this is why I told you it wasn't many shares. With the imbalance coming out, I said that. We're going to take this, we're going to see about a quarter, maybe we got some action breaking. If it was a bid imbalance, then we could keep going, or we're just going to play it back to the 50 period. So we did that pretty much, fits like a glove. Like that's what we wanted to do. And it worked out perfectly. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, Advanced Auto Parts making a big late day move here. AAP up almost 2% here, massive spike on volume. Wall Street Journal reporting a couple updates here with regards to adding 3 new board members. There's a hedge fund close to settling with Advanced Auto Parts, and also this activist investor, Third Point, basically saying they also have a stake in Advanced Auto Parts. So that's reported here by Wall Street Journal, giving Advanced Auto Parts a nice move up here, guys.
Talked about some other activist movements today. And I don't know if this is activist related. Kind of caught me by surprise when Sharif asked about Disney because I thought it was down. And then it took off kind of right off the open. You know, we were looking at this at 110 and we had bought 110s on Friday, I thought, and had a good move back up. And then again today, 110 held beautifully off the open. There wasn't much to do there, just kept on going. So we'll see if it ever comes back into 110. I really like that Disney trade. And then I don't know. We got out of it. We'll move this. There's nothing happening on the imbalances. We got out of Disney. Not out of it. We got out of think it was 10% or something. I was trading, so funny, like I'm trading like that everywhere. Just right here, I thought that it was failing. We saw Bob Iger, never ticked up to 124. The highest it got was this 115 tick. And that was when Bob Iger came and said maybe DTC would be profitable sometime in 24. But right now, 114 seems to be a nice little top there for Disney. So I'm happy with the trade, happy where we got out at right here, like 112 and change. So we'll still hold on to a lot of our Disney, but nice move up 2%. Kind of took me by surprise. Was not expecting that, but I don't think they won much there yesterday, Disney. We saw Warner Brothers upside today, Paramount, I think. But they have some separate news.
Oh, does that stuff matter?
Para up 3%, 6% for Para, so missed opportunity there as well.
Yeah, the whole group. I think you get those nice balances sometimes, and maybe that's something worth looking into. Like, how good is it?
Baba broke.
Simply just waiting until like the day after the Oscars for a gimmick trade. Maybe things like that are that simple. Like you just pick out who did the best and see if you can't get some kind of a trade. And on that, it just seems so obvious. Like, should it be that easy? Really, should it be that easy? What was that, Fabian? I missed that in my ear. Kodak? No, Kodak is not doing anything, unfortunately. But but that Paramount trade, maybe that's something. But then you got to wait around till the next, I guess, big event. But it is worth it. Sometimes you see something like that, you put it on like once a year. Who cares? If it works, it works. And the day you do it, you're absolutely laughing. Bitcoin, Mara, Coinbase, they're all still very, very heavy to the downside. Mara going to be down 11.5%. Coinbase on that curl, right back at the low of the day, holding red. Both these two got shellacked this afternoon. The only mistake was not having more, just sort of going back into the well like 2, 3, 4 times. And don't forget, man, tomorrow's the expiration for it's ARM. That's what I'm looking for. I'm like, yes, it's a lockup on ARM. That's a big deal. You could see that cause some moves to the downside. Like, what happens if that starts to unwind? Some of the growth names could end up flushing. So I think it could be worth it to watch, some potential flat bottom breaks. Someone said Palantir had already broken through support. Today's absolutely. I don't disagree with you there. I was more looking, like the last time it was here, it did a crazy wick down at 24.50, but if you look at these double closes at 25 even, that's where I'm looking. Close at 25 even, close at 25 even, dipsy-do there. I think 25 is support for those reasons. I like closing prices for significance. That's all I was getting at.
Yeah, we're going to flip over there and have get ready for Mr. Michael Noss. Meta also closing near the bottoms as well of the afternoon. I mean, the market's trying to get lower here. Meta, watch out for 475 tomorrow. That could be pretty slippery slope as well. AMD also starting to head a little bit lower now. Let's check in on the big dog as we have Oracle coming after market. So that'll be something that we'll definitely be trying to look at on the show. Well, not trying to, we will be. Or NVIDIA still holding above 850. Let's just check on Oracle. Oracle was up a couple percentage points and still holding out. So Oracle's going to be a good one, man. Watch out for 118. That's going to be a pretty key level as well coming through near the end of the day. Oracle upside at 118 on earnings. So we'll wait for that. But yeah, man, so far so good here. Hope everyone enjoyed the show, and we're going to flip over to the other stream. Well, same stream. Sorry.
Same stream.
I'm going to flip over to the other desk, but stay on this stream. And
literally, you should flip over there. And then
I'll flip over there. Yeah, I'll just do some backflips as I go.
Why not?
And again, For Profit says market recap show or today didn't happen. So market recap show will be coming out very, very soon in a couple minutes to prove that today exactly did happen. So there it is, 3:58. A couple more minutes. I'll see everybody on the flip side.
On the flip side, for sure, these futures, as we said, have been pulling back a little bit, but it's going to be hard to show. Apple actually catching a decent bid again off of 172. So it's going to close up 1%. If you're looking for strength today, you had to squint to find it. Google is going to end up giving some of its gains up, but it's still up 1.7%. And then the only name that was strong for a hot minute that we didn't talk about was Microsoft, but even that gave it up. It's going to close red. By the way, Microsoft and this channel, $400 to about 410. I don't know why I have a line at 408. That top has been 410. I should probably move that to there at some point. But if this can break in either direction, break out under 400, momentum is momentum, break out over 410, I don't care. I just like momentum. This is a name that we've been ignoring we should probably pay a little more attention to. Don't tell me now Tesla's going to go. No, it's not above 180. Closing on strength, bouncing off 175. I want Tesla breaking out over 180. I think there's a day that's going to happen, and that's when I want to be involved, is when this is continuing through 180, and that's a log I'm going to look for all week. I had it a couple times today. Scalp trade basically was the best we were able to get. So with under 1 minute, the name I think on everybody's mind, especially in terms of earnings, is going to be Oracle. But do not sleep on potentially aftermarket or overnight moves in some of the chip names. ARM, particularly because the IPO lockup is going to be gone, and then NVIDIA, AMD for all the obvious reasons, and then Bitcoin. I mean, anything Bitcoin related, Mara tanked, and that Fidelity news, maybe that's the reason why Coinbase was so weak. It feels like a heck of a lot to the downside for that news for Coinbase. Worth keeping an eye on that. We got Adara on the bell. Ooh, I like it. We have the dashboard behind her. In 4, 3, 2, 1, and now the market is closed. So it's been a wild Monday, a fun Monday, a good Monday of trading at Real Trading. Look at that. Together we define, I can't read the whole thing because it's not there anymore. But yeah, it's been a fun morning. It's been a fun day. It's been a fun afternoon of trading for you guys. It's going to be a wild week. We have a lot to get to be sure, starting tomorrow with that ARM IPO lockup. The market's going to end up on the red side, but that's okay. We had fun. And thanks to both Fabian and Ramin, we looked fantastic doing it. Thank you to them, as always, on the 1s and 2s. Shout out to Brendan. We had, as usual this morning, great guest with Michael Loss this afternoon, locking it down with Danielle Shea, giving some great advice on options and also earnings as well. So we always enjoy that. And this week on Learning to Trade, from both Sharif and Adara, you're learning about volatility, which is a great topic because traders need volatility. We absolutely love it in the markets when they're moving. So you got to understand volatility and the nuances that go with it. You know what time it is. Apparently, if we don't go over there, this day didn't happen. And I'd like this day to happen because it was a good one. So to make sure that this Monday is a real Monday, let's go to the desk. We've got the market recap with Sean.
Welcome to the Market Recap. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Sean Gattina, and this is Trader TV Live's Market Recap. We're going to wait out for Oracle today. We have Michael Noss coming through. That should be a lot of fun here today as well. Acadia Pharmaceuticals shares just halting right now. ACAD. Again, we'll find out if something's happening right now with Acadia. We're going to go back and forth here as we go. We have all of the trades that we've made today behind here. We'll talk a little bit about some of those movements. We'll talk about my tweets. We'll talk about Oracle, Asana. We're looking for earnings. And we do have this segment sponsored by Benzinga. Shout out to also Bears vs. Bulls. As soon as I get Oracle coming through here, we'll get that immediately for you. And we will talk all about ORCL. As it's, look, a little bit of old technology. They're expecting, I think it was $1.83. We'll get the numbers in our ear when it does come through. And all I can do is like this, watch this. Boom. We flip it over. We'll be able to see a 1 minute chart here on Oracle as well. Hey, on the podcast, I inputted RSI on here. So let's just do that one more time. Here we go. Watch this RSI. I don't know why that didn't save right now. We will do it in new chart area. Okay, we'll add that right now and push close and then get RSI down here and then save this afterwards. So we can find out RSI right now, Oracle in and around 50, right in the middle. Pretty good call here. We'll see if RSI handles this, breaks above that 118 there for Oracle. All right. Today, the Widowmaker, UNG, again, downside. Not a great day for nat gas. Warmer weather across the nation, really. We were pretty cold here a little bit on the East Coast over the weekend. But you know what? It's going to be like 65, 70 degrees here the next couple of days. We're actually looking at warmer weather on the East Coast. So UNG taking a hit down 2.73%. We had FXI actually, the print today on CPI for China over the weekend, 0.7 year over year versus 0.3 estimate. So CPI actually going higher there in China. So we'll see if there's any sort of flow through in that. Normally that might mean downside pressure, but it's nice to see CPI, I guess, bouncing back to more reasonable levels, just at 0.7 for those guys versus 0.3. So a little bit of a higher number. Not really sure what's up with that, but China and CPI holding above the 50-period moving average. So far, so good there for FXI. XLB, the materials sector, nice move to the upside. We haven't really looked at XLB. We do have Michael Noss on later, coming very soon. So XBI is a trade that he's looked at, definitely pulling back into this area. I think you should be buying some XBI. I really like that. Also IBB. It's kind of funny because today we had Eli Lilly really pulling back in, right? Down 3%. So Eli Lilly in that XBI, XLV, again, another name, another ETF that you might want to look at. Eli Lilly pulling back down again. We had Novo Nordisk come out with, I guess, the pill format, a little bit more effective there. So Eli Lilly is pushing back down a little bit. Do I have orders out, Wayne, or something? No, okay, good. He just came over. I was wondering if I had a trade out there coming through. So 723 for Eli Lilly. I think you can buy this name, and actually, you know what, down here, what is it, NVO? Let's see how that's kind of going the other way. So Eli Lilly pushing in, Novo Nordisk to the upside right now. So I would say if you kind of want to spread it a little bit around, XLV. I really like this ETF starting to go back up to the upside again. This whole platform sponsored to you by Trade Ideas. Hit Trader TV 20 for 20% off as well. Make sure you check that out. Real Trading is the platform I'm trading on as well. Oracle is now out. $1.41 on Oracle. Missed bad. Look at Oracle getting to the downside right now. Let's flip it over to the one. Okay, back up to the upside. All right, what am I talking about? I'm just reading to you what the stock is doing right now. Oracle, let's have a quick look at what Oracle looks like live right now. Nobody else going to show you this, man. A live level 2 of Oracle. Wow, 120. Let's go, Oracle. Ring the Reggie on that one. You guys know that we're bought this one. We're long 107 on Oracle. Initially spiking to the downside. Oracle hitting 108, and we're like, uh-oh, Deadsville. But now Oracle blasting to the upside. Looks like the high right now, 119.70. On Oracle. Very, very volatile right now on Oracle. We'll watch it up here. Here it is. Estimates 141 beats this. This was the miss. They miss on sales there, but a beat on EPS, a miss on sales. We wait for what their forward guide is. I honestly don't know how you can miss on sales for Oracle right now and be going to the upside the way they are. 5% upside right now for Oracle. It touched out at 20s. So again, we talked about 118. Demand for Gen 2 AI infrastructure substantially subsedes supply. So right there, and it's a nice bang up move there for Oracle. Hey, if you can't make them, they can't buy them, but it's nice to have that problem. Hey, Rivian, this is something that they have as well, where they have too much demand and not enough supply. That's what Oracle's hinting at right now. Wow, Oracle really working. 122 now, ripping to the upside for Oracle, continuing to go. Let's look at Oracle on a weekly chart quickly. We'll flip over to a day. We're nowhere near anything now, and I just want to show you about Oracle. Part of the reason why we bought this name, honestly, was we had some really good dip down into this. I'm long down here, 107, 108, but nice move up. Oracle still has on the weekly. It's not too bad. If you could take down this 127, we'll find out what was expected for Oracle, but a huge move up, man. Congratulations. Who's here in the chat with me? And if you are, who has roll call right now? An early roll call for Oracle shareholders. Shout out to everybody long Oracle with me. Bang. Juan, Asana, is that out right now as well? Asana flipping up to the upside right now. Nice play. I'm just going to flip this back to the daily chart. Shout out to everybody's with me, man. I'm sorry. I sort of pushed the roll call there maybe a bit early. We don't need to go roll call yet. You know, we'll hold off on roll call. Asana right now, nice upside move up to 20 and change. If and when I have the number for Asana, we'll do that. But for right now, let's get a little Hydration Nation action. Hitting nicely right now, Asana coming back down. Asana's in the sauna and just chilling right now. So we'll see how far down it goes. Again, I don't have any numbers. Here's the number for Oracle that we just talked about. We expect 43% of our current $8 billion performance obligation will be recognized as revenue. Okay, that's not what we talked about it. Infrastructure capacity, because the demand for our Gen 2 substantially exceeds supply. So there it is right there. Gen 2 infrastructure on the AI side exceeds supply. So that's what we're talking about. Again, Asana back and forth. Not much love there. Oracle, 123 and making moves higher. We'll wait for Michael Noss. As soon as he's ready, we'll have him come through. You can see here IBIT. Oh, I did not call up Bitcoin over here, so let me stay with me for a second as we'll get Bitcoin chart up here. As IBIT makes a move down into the end of the day. But you know what just happened to Bitcoin here? Let's expand this down here and have a quick look at Bitcoin. So let's go over to let's go to a 3-minute chart to see that move. So there's 72.8 on BTC. It does make that move higher, but then kind of faded at the end of the day. This is a little strange to me. I could take this out of my ear because we're now done with earnings. $72,000 came in for Bitcoin right there. Let's just see what that did to Coinbase. We saw a nice move down in on Coinbase. Not really sure what's up with that on Coinbase. Nice move in, 5-minute chart. Just coming back into where we basically were in the pre-market, 255. Let's sort of peg that for tomorrow, 255, and think about it because that was a nice move in. We didn't hear too many stories there about Coinbase falling back in, so we will have a quick little look at that. So Oracle and Asana going opposite ways. Oracle, nice upside move. We'll drop this down to a 1-minute chart. MTN, also Vail Resources, downside move on MTN right now as we watch out for earnings. I saw that come through earlier. There it is, misses 576 here on Vail versus 576, missing 598. So about 22 cents lower than they miss on earnings as well. So Vail Mountain downside right now coming back through in. So we'll watch out for that MTN, but it's really just Oracle, the story here. Let's see if we got any love for AMD on that. No. NVIDIA. Again, this is all server side. Oh, so you know what might have popped on this? Dell maybe? No, but I could see Dell going. Dell's been a monster, by the way. I mean, what a good earnings call for Monster. What a monster for Dell, all the way up to 122, even touching 130 last week and now falling back in a little bit there for Dell. But a nice little break here going higher on Dell. Let's see if they get some Oracle love as well. So what else happened here at the end of the day? XLF, XLB, energy. You know, what a good move for this. Me and Michael have talked a lot about energy over the couple weeks and months here. Nice move up. And then the one thing that I'm not going to talk to Michael about this unless he really wants to, but there's been a lot of technical analysis done on gold, and gold really breaking higher here and continuing again today. It wasn't a monster move or anything today, up another 0.2%, but if you like gold, I mean, this is the trade for you. GLD really starting to move off of some of these levels. I like Adobe coming into earnings. We talked about that on the podcast. I kind of like some of these levels that we could see here on Adobe. So again, we'll get to Michael pretty soon. But for right now, I like this. TAN, Sharif mentioned this earlier today as well. Another very sensitive sector for rates. So solar, again, another name. You know what? Michael and I have talked about uranium. That's been a good name, pulling back a little bit into $26 goes URA. Michael, if you are listening, I do want to look at ARM. So ARM tomorrow does have a lockup coming through. So when ARM has this lockup from SoftBank, let's go over and we'll try to find some levels for ARM. So, you know, I think this, look, I mean, I think 115 is a good as you can get for ARM, but I feel like technical reasons abound. We're going to get a lockup expiry tomorrow, and what that means is now SoftBank, which is going to unload the other 90%, or not unload it, we don't know, but they have able to free up a certain percentage of those shares tomorrow. So when you IPO or direct list, it's going to be in your prospectus that you're only going to have 90 days lockup. So you can't just dump your shares and then sell into everybody, right? That does happen, but SoftBank tomorrow, lockup period expires. So we are expecting to see something here for ARM. And again, here it is. You can see here, EPS, they had a monster quarter, better than expected. Huge move to the upside right now for ARM. But a market cap of 130 billion, they didn't come out anywhere near that, guys. ARM came out, and we'll close this. And by the way, shout out to Michael Noss and the Trade Ideas team, because I'm now using this picture-in-picture here. It's so amazing just to be able to flip this over and see the action on different time frames. So shout out to the team over there. But, you know, when ARM came out, you know, down here about $50, it traded $50 for a long time. If we're at 130 billion market cap right now, you know, down here, you're like at 60, 70 billion. So yeah, I expect them to sell at least up here, double what we were hanging around with for ARM. So we'll ask Michael if there's any key levels or maybe what he sees on ARM here. Probably drawing some VWAPs and whatnot, but for me, 115 for the easy eye right there for ARM. And of course, what I look at here on the daily, oh, the daily disappeared over here. Actually, it's probably on this chart. I like to look at the 200 period moving average as well. So look how easy this is to put on here, right? I'm going to go in, and again, I'll advertise for these guys, of course. Get Trader TV 20, we're in with them. Moving average SMA. So I'm just going to put in here. Let's add a 200 period. I like green. Look how easy this is. Set color, go into green. Go into here, and I apologize. Me and Sharif will use the same sort of setups here, so sometimes it does disappear. We push add, and we'll figure out where that is. I obviously added it wrong, but we have RSI down here as well. And the 200 period for ARM, that's probably the problem. It maybe doesn't have 200 periods because it just has 90 days. So let's go over to Microsoft, and as you can see, there it is. So there's a 200 period moving average. I knew I wasn't going too crazy. Are we ready for Mr. Michael Noss? Then let's go. It's Trader Talk, baby. Michael, I was just talking about how easy it is now to flip over. I really like that sort of picture-in-picture. Let's call it chart-in-chart feature there with Trade Ideas. So thank you for that. And of course, for many traders, and you're probably going to show us, I don't know what version you're going to show us, but we do have the desktop version as well, which is really cool because I often show people on my phone. Like I'm there over the weekend, I just call it up. I'm like, here you go, perfect charting on your mobile as well. So how are you, Mr. Michael Noss?
I'm doing fantastic. I love when I see you use the product, and I love when I hear you explain to your people how to use it. It's absolutely fantastic. How's everything going over in the big city?
It's going pretty nicely. I see the weather in the back there. Looks to be nice over where you are. We had about -8 or so, which was pretty chilly for us over the weekend, but we're getting 17 Celsius. I tried to do the quick math. I'm like 65 to 70 Fahrenheit there for our US viewers, but you just said my people, but this is our people, man. All traders thinking alike, and I want to bring you on because you've had some great ideas for a lot of our traders, including gold, which is breaking out. But I want to talk about ARM. Do you see anything here with ARM, and do you ever trade lockups? Have you before? And what are we looking at tomorrow with ARM?
As more of a long-term trader, I wouldn't, but if you were more comfortable being short, then it makes perfect sense. Now, for me, I would need to research how many shares there potentially could be out there to sell, and potentially what, versus the general volume of the stock itself. Sometimes they can be inconsequential, sometimes they can be massive. One thing I did on ARM that I think makes perfect sense, you're talking about anchored VWAPs, is I drew on my screen here the anchored VWAP from the IPO, right? So this is going to give us the average market participant price from the actual IPO.
Hey, let's go
and
to
that's
the screen,
sitting
Fabian.
all the way down at 95 bucks. So, that's if it's going to go test that anchored VWAP IPO, which they often do, 20 or 40, $95 right down here. That's a pretty far drop from 126. We're talking 30-ish% down. That seems, it's a little worrisome, I would think.
Yeah, that seems pretty rich, that kind of a move all the way to the downside. But I like where you drew the anchored VWAP there all the way back to that $50 mark. So I feel like that's a key level. I like that, and we'll see if it dips into there. You never know.
It could, and again, this is just another Brian Shannonism, right? Wrong drawing tooler, but yeah, he always talks about anchored VWAP from IPO can often be the area in which things end up. So that's, I wanted to highlight that. That's down well under $100. So, if we get there and you're a big ARM fan, then, you got that $100 area and you have the anchored VWAP sitting there. That might be a good place to put out what my friend Brian Lund calls a stink bid, where you just throw out a bid there and you hope something crazy happens when they start selling tomorrow.
All right, yeah, we've talked about putting some stink bids out on a couple of different names as well. Okay, I saw on your screen there, I've been looking at some Chinese names. I thought the FXI might have bottomed a little bit, but one name that you always talk about that you've brought this camera, that you've brought, no, because the red light's on the other one, Fabian. Anyways, welcome to all the 3,000 people that are watching. K-Web, that was a name that you look at. I look at FXI. What do we want to talk about here? We had a better than expected, I guess, CPI print, better than expected, higher than expected, 0.7 versus 0.3. Seems to have lifted a little bit of some of these names. I kind of like the bottoms here, and I personally think China's overdone to the downside. What are we looking at here with some of these ETFs potentially?
Yeah, I've actually talked to a lot of my friends who are more fundamental driven. And one quote that I heard from some of them, which I thought was fantastic, was sometimes when you're in moves like this and you're looking at sectors like this, you don't need things to get better. They just need to stop being completely awful.
Right.
So, I think that may be from the fundamental side, more or less what's happening with China right now. But I do have my chart up here, and we do have K-Web and FXI. So K-Web shows a little bit stronger, and K-Web is essentially just the internet version. So think of FXI as more of your S&P 500 when it comes to China, and then K-Web is more of your QQQ, right? So FXI, and you can see that the FXI double bottom down here, but then if we go into K-Web and we look at the same area, you can see some good relative strength. So this last dip didn't get anywhere near this $20 low, where FXI tagged that same low. So for me, I'm gravitating more to the K-Web side. And again, this isn't me thinking that we're going to get all the way back to 100 and I'm going to get a 5x or something on this trade. But I look at it, we've got a 200-week moving average sitting around $43. If we got anywhere near that, you're talking a 50, 100% gain from here, which would be absolutely phenomenal. And the best part about this is if we lose this $22 area on K-Web, I know I'm wrong or early, and it's time to go. So that's, risk $3 to make 10, 15, maybe $20. That's the kind of trade I'll take all day long because I don't need to be right that often. And I'm usually not.
You're getting, well, we'll see. And nothing wrong with making those calls. We always consider ourselves, and again, a shout out to Brian Shannon this time, not Lund, because he talks about being a risk manager. And I feel like if you don't have outs, Michael, then it's kind of a little useless to look at some of those names. Do you mind if we go over Mara a little bit right now? Because I know this is a name that you've absolutely nailed. So you want to talk about being right sometimes. You hammered this and you were on the show. If you come over to my screen, Fabian, I'll just sort of pump his tires here because it's the truth. You were talking about this little smiley face down here back in September, October, November, and that we were taking out the 200 period. And man, that was a banger. So we'll go bang on that one as we went from 10 all the way up there to 30. And again, we talked about having a short float on this name as well. So we know that exists for Mara, but it's going through some rough patches right now. Maybe you can drop some science with this because they dropped an offering back on everybody and they had earnings. You can see here by, again, the trade ideas marker indicates that we had this on the 28th. Nice move back in for Mara. And I don't know, I'd like to buy things at the 200 period. On the podcast, we talked about it coming back into $15, $16. Unfortunately, that's still a ways away. Is that what we have to do, or are we waiting for some kind of a smiley face to develop? Give it a little bit more time down here on Mara. It's definitely a well-traded name with a lot of our viewers.
Personally, I would give it a little bit more time. I liked Mara more when that short float was sitting around 30. That's why I picked it the way I did. And same when we talked about MSTR, which I can do MSTR here. That was sitting in, I think, the high 20s when we were talking about it.
Yep.
Now that Mara, for example, is more in the 15 area, I am less, 15% short float. I'm less interested in this. Plus the fact that they are doing these offerings. So, again, in a past life, I did actually work for a crypto miner to help them trade out of some of the assets. This was way back in the day.
Right.
And I know it's a really rough business. So these aren't names that I want to hang out in for much time. I want to take my trade. I kind of want to move on and then go from there. Now, for me on Mara, I'm going to take this line right here and just drag it up because I think I need to look at it at around 30.
Okay.
What's worrying me about this security right now is I'm a big relative strength guy, which means I want to buy whatever is the strongest name and I want to sell whatever is the weakest name with the idea that strength begates strength and weakness begates weakness. And the fact that we are hitting all-time highs today in Bitcoin, and Mara is not participating at all. That to me makes me want to just move on and keep it on a watch list somewhere to come back at down the road. But for me, there's nothing compelling. If you can't get going with Bitcoin rocketing through,
Right.
72, 73 that it was today, I think you might be broken at this point.
Are you? I agree. I mean, we talked about that on the show. I was like, "What's going on with Mara here today?" And just keeps going to the downside. So we'll find out about that more and more, of course, as we go. Maybe we'll have the crypto burb come through. Adrian Zadinchuk come through and try to explain that a little bit. Okay, Oracle still pumping for anybody looking. It's 121.50, nicely up 8% here in the aftermarket is Oracle. Nice move right there. Okay, so you can find Michael Noss at Michael Noss CMT on Twitter, but we're not done yet. Michael, I asked the audience if there's any questions, and I know that you're probably fine with this.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. I should have maybe asked you first, but I knew you'd be fine with it. So right here, we found a good one. Oh no, where did it go? Oh, here it is right here. Craig Melq. You're always coming on here, and if someone might have missed you earlier this morning as well, it's what's Michael's favorite swing trade right now? Now, he doesn't give a time frame or anything like that, but what is there something that maybe you can drop right now on the show in front of everybody that's watching? Is there a swing trade that you're looking at and possible time frame for that trade?
Yeah, I was actually looking at Roblox. Now,
Okay.
The reason I don't talk time frame much is because I let price decide my time frame. So I'm one that I want to buy the shares. I pick a moving average, and when
Right.
it breaks that moving average, I'm out, because sometimes I'll be in a stock for months or years. Sometimes I'll be in for days or sometimes hours if it just reverses on me. So I want to stay in as long as the trend tells me that. Now, we have a system in Trade Ideas, and I built it myself, so I am biased to it. And this is a back-tested algorithm that uses a handful of indicators out there, and it comes with a relative strength ranking. And this is where a lot of the ideas that you see me come to the show with that come from this. Again, Trader TV 20, if you want to try it for 20% off. The idea behind this, again, is it's simply put, if it's above its 200-day moving average, give it a point, right? If the RSI is above 50, give it a point. So it takes all of these metrics from all of these indicators, and it comes up with a score for the stock. The higher, the better. And I like to scroll through, the top 20 or 30 every night.
Right.
And while I was in the green room waiting, Roblox is number one highest ranked here right now. And the one thing I like about it, so I have the chart here, is yes, the daily chart's a little bit choppy. It closed this earnings gap. It had a big, strong day today, a nice bullish day. But if you look down here on the bottom, I'll actually switch out because my face is there. The monthly chart, we are starting to do this base. And me and Sean, I remember we were talking about this a little bit. We were giving some examples of stocks that are coming out of these long bases that they've been in for years. This one goes all the way back to 2021. It's been chopping between 50 and about 20 back and forth. So I'm looking at a lot of names that are doing this, and they're breaking out of the base. For your viewers, if you want to look it up, it's Stan Weinstein's stage analysis. He's a very famous market technician, and he talks about these accumulation phases, these bases that can occur. And when they break and start to trend higher, that's generally when the most amount can be made out of trades. So for the relative strength trader, I really like the look of Roblox right now.
Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, hit it one more time. Those are little Roblox sounds. Okay. I don't know if you ever play Roblox or not, but those are the sounds there. That's what happens when it hits 50 and it fails. You get the, and then you fall back down in there. So we'll wait to see if Roblox does indeed do that. Are you on the app right now, the Trade Aids, or is that the web version? Because I really like, if you go back to your screen, I really like that top part right there that you have where it gives all of the details. So I'm going to have to talk to you about that, because that would be really wicked for the show right now, just giving you everything right there. And another shout out to Trade Ideas again.
Yeah, that is the download it. We just need to make sure, and we'll chat about it. We need to make sure if you're on the latest beta, again, Trader TV 20 checkout. We're trying to put more and more around the chart with the picture-in-picture charts and the fundamental data, because, hey, we're all visual creatures. We like looking at charts. So the more information we can put there without you having to flip around, the better.
All right, we do have more questions in the chat, but we got to go. So, Michael, promise me next week, maybe we'll do a Q&A. I'll get a couple questions, we'll present them, and then we'll discuss it on the fly. Because for me personally, I actually like answering questions on the fly. It lets people sort of go through our, thought process and what we're doing, and it feels more unique to that. But thank you so much again for coming on one more time, twice today. It's Michael Noss. And are you doing any seminars or anything you want to promote right now for about 2,800 people watching?
No, just follow me on Twitter, Michael Noss CMT. I have a Substack, which is also Michael Noss CMT.
Perfect.
I have my own personal website, which is statsedgetrading.com. But if you follow me on those things, I'll direct you there at some point.
And then me and Michael Noss pretty soon will be having our own website called Only Trades, and then we'll be on there as we go. But thank you so much. It's Mr. Michael Noss, and that was Trader Talk. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Ciao. To Michael for that. We got to figure out this, because now the red light's on over here, now it's over there. What's going on over here right now? But okay, thank you again, Michael. Again, Oracle taking out the day's high right now, starting to go back up to the upside. Quick little look on Asana as well here. Asana is just like I said before, it's in the sauna. It's like just chill. It's chilling out. It's really just chilling out right now. So we'll have to watch out to see what's going on right there. The next topic, we'll go over to the next topic. I'll do it over here. There it is, sticky note review. Hey, my favorite thing to review every single day. And I don't go home and actually review these things. So, no, not the sticky note, I don't. I review charts, that's for sure, but I don't review my own sticky notes. Let's do it right now, right here, because again, I look at this all day, every day. Look, for me, let's just talk about this. Alibaba Long, we talked about why we like FXI and KWeb. Thank you, Michael Noss, for some of that talk as well. I'm gonna keep on looking for Baba Long, especially when it comes in every single morning. Let me just minimize this quickly here and just show you what I did on Alibaba today. So you want to think about why we liked it long. It was up 2% today. It started the day here on Alibaba long. Oh no, but guess what? The kids are on March break, so I don't have to run home. You have an appointment? Okay, we got to go. All right, right now. So anyways, Alibaba, we really liked it long, but we missed it. We tried it in here. That slipped up. The big trade for us today, guys, and it was the #1 banger on the floor here. And of course, AMD, I apologize, it's an NQ name right there. Look at all these purple marks. Those are all shorts. When this loads up, maybe I can zoom back out. Look at that, man. We switched over platforms and we don't actually have too many crazy wicks. VWAP short. And again, this is the #1 stock because of this. We pick our direction and we stay there. We had AMD short. We had ARM short. ARM was a banger. Rivian long, we put down 1250. The bottom is 1255 and it ripped into 1325 off of that as well. So here's AMD. Shorted it early off some of these pre-market levels, banger. Look at this short at the end of the day that everybody had with us. Right there, 200, boom, right into 197. Good trades there. And then this is why we asked Mr. Michael Noss. We are the ARM bandits today, man. We really hit this one. This was a good trade for us. Short there, then short off the 200 here, boom. That's $3. That's 128. That's 125. That's another banger as these calculations start to go through our head. Look, we got to get out of here, but thank you so much for watching again. This goes into a podcast, so if you miss it, stay tuned. You can download it, watch it, listen to it on your way home from work as you're on the Peloton tonight, which I'm going to go head on as well. Thank you so much for watching. Join me tomorrow at 8:30. I want to thank my guest, Michael Noss. I want to thank Fabian for staying late, as well as all traders and production team stay late with me here. I'm Trader TV Sean. Twitter, Instagram, and X, and LinkedIn. 2 of those are the same. Go figure out which 2. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.